Hello, everybody out there in podcast land. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the show. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Lone Wolf Paintball. Lone Wolf Paintball is an online supplier that has been around for a very long time. They've actually been Michigan's premier paintball field and supplier since 1987. Now expanding into the online retail store, they are really trying to do their best to supply everything you need to the paintball community. They have it all. You can head over to lonewolfpaintball.com. If you want Field 1, HK, GI, Dye, it doesn't matter. They got it. You can surf the website. You can check it out. They have what you need, guaranteed. And they also boast excellent customer service and same-day shipping. That's pretty badass. You could go to the website, order something, and it's going to be sent out that day. That's fantastic. That's amazing customer service. So again, guys, if you would like, you could head over to lonewolfpaintball.com. You could also check them out on YouTube and Instagram. Their Instagram is Lone Wolf PB, and their YouTube is Lone Wolf Paintball. And you can see and keep up to date with all their latest deals, their sales, their content. It's a lot of really fun stuff. Play the Game Podcast is excited to have them on board, and you guys should head over and become part of the community. All right. This episode is brought to you by Transfuse. Transfuse is the only all-natural electrolyte drink that you guys need to have in your cabinets. We love this stuff. We've been using this for an entire season now. This stuff is amazing. I feel great when I drink Transfuse. I drink it every single day. I don't go a day without putting a packet of Transfuse in my water. It's very easy, very portable, easy to travel with, and delicious to drink, which means that you're going to love drinking it and you're going to drink more of it, which is going to be incredibly beneficial to your health. Has magnesium, potassium, sodium, which are all amazing for proper hydration. It has zinc, vitamin C, vitamin B, and choline. These things are incredible cognitive enhancers and immune boosting formulas that you don't want to miss out on, especially in times like this. I'm telling you, I drink Transfuse every single day. I love it. Tyler does as well. Anybody who has tried it has been just pouring with great feedback back to us. There's a reason that they're at all the NXL events, and a lot of the top teams and top professionals are using this product. Do not walk around dehydrated. I never realized how dehydrated I was, even when I was drinking all sorts of water. It's not enough. You need the proper nutrition. You need the right ingredients. Transfuse has done a great job of curating the perfect formula. Transfuse is absolutely spectacular, and for all of our listeners, there is a special deal for any Play the Game listener. If you head over to translabs.com, that's translabs.com, and use code PLAYTHEGAME at checkout, you will get 10% off. If you subscribe, which means they auto ship you your package every single month, whatever you want, whatever type, whatever flavor, whatever electrolyte formula you desire, they will give you an additional 11% off. So it becomes a 21% discount exclusively for all Play the Game listeners. Huge, huge shout out. And we are incredibly thankful for our supporters. And if you guys would like to go support them, it's translabs.com. Use code PLAYTHEGAME. We are brought to you by Heal Brand. Heal Brand is the best CBD company that we have ever come across. I've been taking CBD products for years now, and I absolutely love it. But Heal Brand has taken my CBD consumption level to the next tier. This stuff is really the luxurious, high-quality, best brand that you're going to come across. Their whole claim to fame is the nanotechnology. It's the real deal. The claim is that through their nanotechnology, the CBD can actually break through the cellular wall and get into the bloodstream much faster and more efficiently. So you need less to do more. Often CBD products, you'll need to take it for a couple weeks before you really start noticing all of the benefits. With this stuff, as soon as you take it, you notice it right away. Within 15, 20 minutes, you're feeling the benefits of CBD. CBD is great for inflammation, anxiety, sleeping, all sorts of different stuff. CBD is really exploding on the scene because it has such a wide variety of benefits. I personally love to use CBD before I go to bed so I can get a full, well-rested night of sleep. Sleep is so crucial. It's so important. If you want to recover well, if you want to fight off depression and anxiety and those unwanted emotions, proper sleep is where you need to start. CBD products really help me do that, and Heal Brand CBD has a wide variety of options of different products, different formulas. It is all natural. It's amazing. This stuff is fantastic. You guys can head over to healbrand.com, check them out, and there is an exclusive offer to all of our PTG listeners. If you use code PLAYTHEGAME at checkout, you'll get 10% off. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by our favorite tax guy, David Roque. It's that time of the year. It's tax season. Tax season is incredibly daunting. It's intimidating. It's a time of the year that you really need somebody on your side that understands how to get you the most out of, everything that you've worked for all year. So having somebody that you are not intimidated to go and speak with and ask questions, somebody that's going to do whatever they can to make sure that you can maximize your returns is crucial during these times. David is an accountant and paintball player from South Florida with over 6 years of personal and corporate tax experience. And he has clients throughout the United States. So it doesn't matter what state you're in, he knows the legislation, and he's willing to do whatever he can to make sure that you feel comfortable in getting, the most out of your return, and are confident that his filings are, done with due diligence. And I can personally say, so far, David has been excellent. We are so incredibly happy to be working with him with Play the Game podcast. He is doing all of the PTG filings and tax returns, and so far he's been absolutely amazing. We have a pretty complex situation with Tyler being in Arizona and myself being in California, so he has been amazing at answering all questions and making sure that we are comfortable in filing this return. He's really good at maximizing your return and making sure that you keep all the money that you can out of the money that you earned. So why not go with him? If you have a small business or have thought about starting one, David is also there to help you out with understanding corporate taxes. He can help establish your business, start up payroll, or help with bookkeeping. This is all really important stuff, and this is stuff that we're learning, Tyler and myself, along the way. We need better techniques, and we're going to be using him going forward, absolutely. Let him know that you're a fellow paintball player and that you're recommended by us at Play the Game, and he will make sure to help you out for under $200 for a federal and state return. I mean, that's crazy. That's great prices. If you guys have gone to H&R Block or any of these other places, they charge a hefty fee. It's pretty expensive to do your taxes. So we have somebody in the paintball community that is offering a great service at a premium price. And we hope that you guys definitely check him out. You can find him at his email, droque954@gmail.com. That is DROQUE954@gmail.com. He's fantastic. Check him out 100%. It is Roque Accounting. That is his company. That is his business. This is what he does, and he's here to help you. All right, PTG fam. My goodness, it seems like it's been so long. I missed you guys. Tyler missed you guys. We all missed you guys. This episode is a fantastic one. We have Matt Fuzzy Jackson from Edmonton Impact, the 2021 Sunshine State Open champions. Matt played phenomenal throughout the event, got the start late Sunday, and in the finals was a massive contributor to their win. And it was just a really good conversation. It was awesome to sit down with him and pick his brain about his move to Impact, obviously the AC Dallas camp, which had a ton of success while he was on the team, and go over, obviously the start of his career and all the way up until this last event we just had. So without further ado, we're going to hop in the show.
That was an insane inside move by Marcelo Margot. Great communication.
And the crowd starts chanting Harmon.
Great shot by all the guys. So Tyler Harmon saved that game.
Came out with 2 wins. Marcelo Margot was on fire.
All right, everybody, we got him right here. Matt Fuzzy Jackson, man of the hour, the current 2021 NXL Orlando Open champion. What's up, dude?
How's it going?
Doing good, man.
Yeah,
glad
good.
to have you here.
Not as good as you're doing right now, but things are good. Things are all right.
Things are good. Things are good for sure. Feeling real good.
Yeah.
Congratulations, man. You guys stepped up and really brought that one home out there in Florida. And you could just see, the determination in every single one of the players out there to get the job done. So it's obviously been a long time coming for you, buddy. You've, been chomping at the bit for quite some time, and it's cool to see you finally get your first pro win. How does that feel, man?
The common thing that I keep saying right now, it's kind of undescribable. The whole feeling of all the work, all the weekends, all the, missing events of family, girlfriends, whatever it may be. So it's feeling really good finally to get it. And, all the family members are like, holy cow, blah, 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 freaking out. So it's cool that
awesome.
Everyone gets to kind of experience it too.
Heck yeah. People come out of the woodwork with the comments and the messages like, dang, I haven't heard from you in 15 years. What's up?
Yep. All the old ex guys that played paintball back in 3-man, 5-man, everything. Hit me up saying, yo, you finally got it. No, it's real cool.
That's
It's
cool
the
because that
best.
means they've been watching your journey too, you know?
Yeah, for sure. That's
Yeah.
what I talked to Tyler about this a little bit before the show, and I had some guys that I used to play pump with way back in the day, and two of them used to play with like Brimstone Smoke, and they've been watching over all the years.
Heck yeah.
So they reached out to and congratulated me, and it's real cool to people have been able to keep up with it, especially with Ghost Sports, all the videos, everything that's so much easier to keep up with nowadays with technology. So it's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I like what you said too, you know, about all the sacrifice, because that really, at the end of the day, we sacrifice so much for this game. And so when you finally do get that win, just that feeling of relief and finally achieving it is indescribable. You know, it really is. It's a feeling unlike any other. And that's why we keep doing it too. You know, you get a little taste. And like Ty said, man, you've been chasing that taste for a long time, consistently on a top 4 team, always in the hunt. You personally have been the best player at events, you know, won multiple accolades, MVPs, and things like that. So it was only a matter of time, to be completely honest.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate you guys saying that. Obviously, I grew up looking up to Dynasty guys. Our first national event was like 03 back in the day in Dynasty, and most of, not necessarily all of you guys, but most of you guys were already playing pro. So I was grinding through the ranks when you guys were already kind of doing it. And now to actually kind of be on the same stage with you guys, it feels awesome. The journey of through all of it is pretty badass.
Those are the guys we looked up to too, you know.
I know,
they're
right?
still doing it. It's pretty crazy. This last event kind of showed that some of them are a little more mortal than we may have thought. But you know, the good news is Ryan seems to be doing well. He did play a little bit on Sunday, and so the concern was how was he going to feel this week, and seems like he's doing all right. So that's definitely awesome. But yeah, it's crazy, man. They've been doing it for a long time.
He's got to get a resupply of his bloodline. the
vampire
sauce.
blood. He needs to re-up on whatever he's been taking in the dungeon.
Yeah. Dude, I want to kind of dive into, obviously we just had, you know, the Sunshine State Open, and you guys won it. So I want to dive into the tournament and talk about that before we really get into like your backstory and all that kind of stuff. So walk us through the journey of that event and what took place out there, man, from Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday, how it all developed.
Yeah, let's even go into practice too. How you guys got prepared for that? Obviously, we got to practice the weekend before, but the whole journey of you know, having that win come to fruition.
No, for sure. Honestly, I think a big part of this was this is kind of an assumption on my part, but kind of the rumor bill that I've heard from some of the guys on the team that once I joined, it kind of made everyone have a little bit more of a fire under their butt to try to get a win because they knew I was still hungry. The joke right now was that Mouse was actually at the field doing drills by himself. You know, I don't have any experience knowing what he did previous, but the guys are kind of joking. They're like, you know, Mouse wasn't always like about that life. So you coming on the team, it kind of sparked him to want to get a little bit better, you know, have that drive still. And I've heard a few other guys kind of talk about that, and you know, that feels good to me because obviously they want to help me get it. Yeah. And then if I can bring that hunger, that, you know, that desire for a win to those guys who obviously they've won a lot of tournaments, you know, they've won some championships, they've won some Europe stuff, like they've won all of it, and then for them to want to still do it, that feels really good that I can actually, you know, motivate them to do that. So going into the practices, I'm just going to do me, super critical on everybody and on myself, letting people, you know, get it, speak my mind, don't hold my tongue and anything. Anyone that's ever played with me, they know that everything I'm trying to do is trying to help, but it may not always be delivered the best way. So it might be a little rough, but
that's what you got to do, man. To win is that super high level critical thinking, and you know, the players that really dive into those rabbit holes and solidify how they're going to complete the mission in their mind before stepping onto the field, that's the only way you're going to get it done out there. So kind of take me through what you're talking about when you talk about like hypercritical and you know, and that whole thing.
Yeah, so like one of the easiest things, this field layout, it had a lot of different routes that you could run to get to different spots, right? So like one thing, I'll say this, Brandon Cornell did not have a good weekend against you guys. You guys shot him off break. I would almost say like 75% of the games that he played. So he and I had a conversation. I was like, you know, how are you running it? Are you actually hitting like, you know, full on laying out flat going into that first Dorito? If you're running the deep route, you know, are your eyes where they need to be to read, you know, who's going to shoot you? Like, so super critical on just the simple fact of, you know, the starting box to the first bunker. You know, are you running it correctly? You know, where are your eyes? Is your body position actually what you think it is? Because some people think that they're laying out and they're not laying out, right? They're scared of actually laying out. So like, you know, little things like that. And then in practice, every piece of the field we dissected like that. And I don't, like I said, this is the whole team for me is new. This is something that we did on AC, me and my brother and TJ, super critical. And that's one of the reasons that we had success on AC, but obviously I want to carry that over and bring that to these guys. And that's kind of a piece of it specifically on the whole field, or on the layout itself. I don't want to go into too much. I feel like I don't want to teach you guys anything.
Of course. Yeah, no, we feel you. And it's super cool to see your brother with Ironman and Danner, you know, with X Factor. And, you know, you guys have really done something great out of that area. But yeah, I feel you. Don't give us any you know, tricks.
Yeah, what I do want to kind of elaborate on, though, I mean, honestly, it's no secret. There's certain things about certain layouts that you would be able to teach us, but at the high level, people that have won at our level, they understand it's the details, right? Being able to break down, like people listening, we talk about on the show all the time about the little details. And so for our listeners, they're like, oh man, you really map out like based on what position the shooter's in, you're going to actually run a different route. Because one shooter has to shoot over a wedge into something so you can go under it, and you know another position has a little gap that he could shoot you, so you want to get around that. And you can see all this on your way out and make that decision on the fly, you know. And so little things like that. I mean, it's literally the difference between making your bunker and not making your bunker, right? And so that could be winning a point, losing a point, winning a tournament, losing a tournament.
The joke that we always had is control what you can control, right? So if you're on the starting box and you can control, you know, how you guys are lined up, if you're going to line up in front of your guy that's behind you or behind your guy, you know, that dictates how you can run or your options that you can or can't run. You know, those are super, I say high level thinking, or not high level thinking, but like high level stuff. That's like, everyone can do this. You don't have to be a Mouse and Alex Goldman to make the corner with his speed, his athleticism, if you're just running the right routes, right?
Yeah.
Callie made the corner against us, I think, almost every time he tried in finals.
Yeah.
Callie and Mouse are
two different athletes.
Quite different athletes.
For sure.
And that's not dogging on Callie at all, but like, it's just, that's how it is.
Mouse is just a specimen. So, you know,
dude,
yeah.
Dude. Yeah.
He's a monster. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a joke on our team, Ryan specifically, because we do it a lot in Europe too. But it's like almost anytime I choose to go out to a corner in events, usually make it as well. I'm definitely not the fastest, but it's like there's definitely a way in which you run your route and slide. And Tyler, you're really good at this too. The way you position your body when you hit the ground. Like certain players are just hard to shoot on the move. You know, they go from up here to down there, just like that.
Yep.
And they just it's an experience thing, you know. That kind of movement is an experience thing. I don't think you can teach it in a fundamental course, you know. There's something about reading the paint coming back in and your routes and seeing it, kind of like in golf, you know, with like different lies and stuff like that, and how the turf might break or the speed of it. Just kind of takes experience, time behind the gun. But
it's crazy how you can literally win or lose the tournament just in the first couple seconds of a game. And at the highest level, in the pro level, that's how it's working. Like you saw when we played X Factor, they had a breakout where they lost a couple, you know, and pretty quickly, and boom, immediately horn.
They blew the buzzer in 14 seconds.
The next point, but
yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's Ryan Branzimbo, right? Like he'd rather have a breakout where he'd rather get more breakouts because he's confident in their ability than actually try to play those 3-on-4s or the 3-on-5s. And that's actually a crazy thing about the finals too, is we were winning the breakout every game that we played until the finals. We lost every breakout in the finals. And that was, for us, the conversations were like, yo, like, what's going on here, guys? Like, what are we doing? Are we not shooting the same shots? Like, well, you know, what's going on? But yeah, absolutely winning and losing in the first 20 seconds of a game is extremely common.
Who was your first two games on Friday that you guys had?
We played Heat and then Uprising.
That's right. Can you walk us through those two games a little bit and how those developed? And you know, it's a learning process the whole way through an event. So, you know, when we get there, the field that you play at the tournament is typically not the same field that you've played at practice. There's all these little micro details. And when you get to a tournament, you got to relearn the entire field essentially. So, kind of take us through the first 2 games, and then we'll head into Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. The Heat match, honestly, we didn't really have much of a, I call it preparation going into that. We weren't real sure how they were going to play it, or kind of how the field was going to be. We had watched games because we had an afternoon on Friday that everyone was playing the Snake side pretty slow. Dorito side was, significantly faster. Everybody was kind of in the center, which I feel like everyone kind of assumed that was going to be. But just like the practice we played you guys, there was games where we won and lost because of the Snake side. Someone got on there unseen, shoot 4 dudes in the back, right? Like,
absolutely.
I didn't feel like that happened a whole lot at the events. The dust doesn't help. So when someone slides into Snake, there's a dust cloud. So you're not really sneaking in there much. But the Heat game, we really were kind of just, hey, let's go out and do us and kind of see what happens. And honestly, that game, we were destroying them off break. I think probably the first 2 or 3 points, we had at least 5 kills off break. I think the first game we played, we shot 2 or 3 off break. And then that kind of carried through. And then, you put them at a 3-0 deficit and they're trying to struggle to just make spots. It's really easy for us game plan wise. Hey,
of course,
let's just make these spots. Let's shoot our guns and, let's just play slow.
Dictate it.
Yeah, because we don't have to do anything, right? We're already up 3-0.
Of course.
The uprising, I think we ended up winning. We won 6-1 against Heat. The uprising match, we actually knew that they were going to probably play more pocket, less actual risk overall. And they did. They played a little bit more up the center, more the cake on the Dorito side and that can on the Snake side, instead of kind of going anywhere. And those games are a lot longer games than the actual Heat games. But I think the score ended up being the same, 6-1. Didn't really have options didn't really have any success shooting people off break, because they didn't really give us anyone to shoot off break. But ultimately it was just kind of, I'd say, an experience thing. Obviously a lot of the guys on Impact, just like Dynasty, you guys have been playing, we've been playing for a long, long time. So we know how to play those grinders, those slow games, value your body, smart bumps and things like that. So it's kind of just winning some gunfights, people staying disciplined. I wouldn't say anything special or spectacular, but
the Heat guys, they had a kind of a rough go at it this weekend. What do you think is playing into that?
We actually obviously had a lot of conversations about that because Todd went over there as the new coach. And I've played against Heat for a long time, because when we had BCK out of Houston, we'd occasionally practice Heat kind of on off weekends, just because they'd stay here in Houston. And personally, I've always felt like the guys on Heat themselves, they like the idea of kind of coming up with a play on the box, a little bit less structure compared to, I would say, some of the, more veteran teams. I think kind of like the game plan for the specific matches. I think they kind of look at it as like, hey, Ryan Moorhead or Chad, like, hey, what are we going to do this match? Ryan's like, all right, I'm going to push against these guys over here because of something that I see, or Chad George is saying the same thing. He's like, all right, I can get in the Snake against these guys. I'm going to have success. You guys kind of hold up a little bit. This is me assumption. These are all assumptions. This is me just speculation and playing against them over the years. So I actually felt like Todd trying to come in with game plans was actually going to hurt him a little bit, because I think it took away from some of their creativity. And I don't know, if that's what it was, but I think he only played 5 or 6 guys, maybe 7 of the 10. So I think that's kind of rough too. He didn't really give everyone an option or the possibility to see what they could do. So he's got to learn that dynamic with having a bunch of good players and a bunch of good guys that can all contribute at any point. And obviously that's a good problem to have, but if you don't know how to use them, I think it's real tough, because not only are you kind of messing with people's heads because they're not playing, so then they do get a spin on 0.4, they're frustrated, like there's all of these mental blocks or these mental obstacles,
lots of layers.
That's kind of something
exactly.
That's kind of something I do want to talk about too, though, because you guys have that on Impact, and you actually had to you had to earn your spot the hard way, especially on Sunday, right? So, because sharing time with players is a difficult thing to do, especially if you're on a short leash. Let's talk about that. Coming to this team, you knew you were going to have to fight for some play time, and then come late Sunday, you're getting the start. Come finals, you're playing every single point.
Yeah. So I have a good relationship with Dave. I've talked to Dave for a number of years, not being on Impact, obviously, and he was always kind of interested in me coming over. So I feel like I have a good relationship with him, and I think that's helped a lot, just kind of having open communication with him. But one of the practices either against you guys, actually, I think it was a practice against you guys. He kind of asked me my opinion. I was like, hey, who's probably playing your spot the best, other than yourself? And I told him, I said, I think A-Rod is. I said, I think he's having good success getting into snake. And I think he's surviving on the longer points, I'd say good enough to be able to be that anchor over there. But also, A-Rod, he played with you guys. He's a gamble man, right?
Yeah.
Like sometimes he's going to throw those gambles and sometimes they're going to pay off and sometimes they're not.
Right.
So he and I, over the whole course of the tournament, we're helping each other, and obviously through practices too, helping each other have these conversations. And what do we see? What do we think we can do better? This kind of open dialogue. And the tournament, for me, this is the first tournament I've ever played that I didn't play every point, basically.
Yeah.
So going into the first and second match, I'm walking up to Dave like, am I in? Am I out? Am I in? Do I need pods? What are we doing here? So that was
have time for pina coladas in between points.
Yeah.
You're on vacation.
So that's real funky to me. But the whole Sunday thing, he got to start against X Factor. So, the joke that I had with my whole family, because obviously they're all texting me like, hey, you okay? Like, you all right? How are you doing? Right. Mm-hmm. Everyone's super, super worried about it. And I was like, no, like this is the job. Right. Yeah. I'm here to play paintball, but also I'm, I could be number 7, 8, or 9 or 10 on the roster at any point. And that means I'm filling his air, filling pods, filling his loader. So
being a good teammate, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, just being a good teammate, just doing what I'm there for. So that was the X Factor match for me. I think I played 1 point. He got the rest of the spins on that. And we were just, talking about what I saw, what he saw, what do we think we could do. And then come the damage match, Dave walked up to me. He's like, hey, you're going to get the spin on this. So he's like, let's have a game. And then, I feel like I earned my keep there in the damage match, playing real well, and it's just staying alive for a long, long time. And I think really that was the big deciding factor for me versus A-Rod. If someone wanted to have that, like, that head-to-head comparison, I just think I was just alive constantly.
Yeah, and the field kind of dictates that too. Yeah, I don't think there needs to be a head-to-head comparison. It just like that side, especially, you had to be really consistent. That spot you were playing, you had to be like really solid and alive for the chaos. At the end, right through the chaos, and be there to close games. 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
That finals game was crazy. It was pretty low scoring and drawn out. Walk us through the finals and everything that went down in that from start to finish.
Yeah, so we had talked about it. We knew that they were going to probably do some pocket against us just because we had watched them play, and we had kind of kept up with what they were doing through the tournament. And of course, everyone talks about, how they lost to who and so on and so forth. So we kind of knew, this is probably what's going to happen. They're going to play pocket, be alive. Kylie's going to try to fill that snake corner. And they were probably one of the best teams shooting bounce shots too, as we actually did. We played them for about an hour on Thursday. And we had died on a few bounce shots that we hadn't really, like, we kind of knew about, but they had actually shot them probably better than anybody. So we were like, hey, they got me on this one. They got me on this one. So then going into the finals match, we were kind of prepared for it as well. Like, hey, be careful going into this spot, because of these bounce shots. And they did those on Thursday. So it's not like,
what do you think of bounce shots?
It's frustrating that it's part of the game, but it is part of the game. So you just got to play it.
That sounds like me. Exactly.
Yeah,
dude.
like it's like sometimes it's fun when it's not your spot that has one, like every tournament. But like the snake side can, right? Like I can't even play the can and look outside because if they make the corner, I just die. Right. So it's like that's frustrating. But that was really the only real bad one on the snake side. While I was on the Dorito side, Dorito, like I guess they considered it Dorito 2. On the webcast, Dorito 2 off of the other Dorito right in front of it comes in like a heater every time. So if you're just sitting in there, you can just die out of it. That pin over there next to that Dorito side wing, that's a killer one too. So like playing anywhere almost over there, you can just die at kind of any point. So I wasn't really mad about it on the snake side. I only had to deal with the can one a little bit.
Yeah, that one stunk though, especially it was good for you guys. You have Mouse making the corner every single time.
Yeah. I don't know how many kills we got on that bounce shot. Cause one match, Spica started watching. He's like, yo, I think we got like 4 or 5. Mouse would walk in and be like, yo, I got it. And we're like, yeah, you got it.
Like shooting fish in a barrel, Mouse. Good job.
Yeah. Real easy to shoot somebody in their back when they're not even looking at you, especially off of another bunker. So,
man.
like I said, they're
They're
frustrating.
part of the
but
game. Yeah.
they're part of it.
I like them actually because they're part of the game. I think maybe I've tricked myself. Maybe I've just tricked myself.
Yeah.
Because ironically enough, the overtime point against X Factor, I got shot on the dumbest bounce shot. Archie and I were doing this shot.
No way.
Back,
Oh man.
yeah, I
didn't know
told
that.
you, dude.
I didn't know that's how you done.
It's always frustrating.
The entire match, we were from back center to back center. You could shoot off the tall tower on the snake side and it would like,
Yep.
but
Never
like,
happened.
that wasn't a good one.
Never had it happen to me. Not once.
Yeah.
Nick died on it twice, I think, on Sunday.
Oh man. Yeah.
Crazy.
Dude. So me and Archie, like the whole match, we're shooting it back at each other. And I'm like, it's not really coming in. I'm like, maybe he just doesn't quite know the shot. I mean, I'm sure he does, but it's not really working.
Right.
The overtime point, dude. He starts doing it, and all of a sudden a ball like flies up into the air and literally lands on the bottom of my tank or the top of my tank. And I'm like,
best.
You're kidding me. You're fucking kidding me. Overtime, you've been shooting it the whole match. It finally, like the way it hit me too, it like flew straight up into the air and landed on top of my bottle.
Nice.
The first thing I thought of too, because we talk about bounce shots on the show a lot, and I'm always standing up for them. I was like, fuck, I hate bounce shots. I hate them.
They're so frustrating.
Yeah.
Actually, I have a similar story against X Factor in finals in Chicago when they beat us. Billy gets into the 50 brick. There's a little cake next to a tall cake on the snake side. I'm in there the whole game, whole match, whole tournament, never died to it. Billy said he shot like 7 paintballs, ripped me twice, shoots me on 2 of them. And they're just massive breaks on my tank. I'm just like, whatever. Like
Player eliminated.
yeah. Sometimes it's just how it is.
Yeah.
For sure.
So the finals match though, honestly, the 2-1, I actually was really surprised that that's how it ended up. I actually thought it was going to be, I don't know. It's kind of tough to say. I felt like we were either going to blow them out or it was going to be super close. And obviously it ended up being super close.
Yeah, man.
And that, I love that. Like, obviously, no one wants to watch a blowout Super Bowl or a blowout finals or anything like that. But looking at how they were playing, we're like, if we're going to hit our shots, this is going to be a tough match for them. And ultimately we didn't hit our shots off break. So it felt like, that helped them significantly, making that corner, because it obviously changes a lot to how the field plays. But they ended up they got the first point on us because they shot, pretty sure they shot J-Rob real fast, and then they shot Nick real fast. So then it was like a 3-on-5 within 15, 20 seconds or something like that. And they just kind of slow grinded it, played real together as a team to finish that game, which is really the big thing that they didn't do later on in the match. The Thomas penalty that changed the whole thing for us, honestly.
It did.
And the 2-on-1.
Yeah, Mouse just playing like a beast.
Yeah.
It's just a madman.
I'm super proud of Mouse, and I don't mean this in any sort of condescending way. He's one of the best for a reason, but like, I think that's the most clutch I've ever seen him play, and the most patient. He's always been known for someone who goes in and gets in the snake, goes down, gets 5 packs, that kind of thing. But this event, he played with a lot of poise. And I think that's why his performance was really special, because on Sunday, like, he didn't really do anything special until the team really needed him to. And he stepped up in a few just major points. That 2-on-1 was insane.
The fact that he got the trade with Cody, right? Like, obviously hitting the Dorito guy, like, he basically went into snake hard, set the guy up to come to our Dorito. And so, like, that's next level thinking, right? That he's assuming that guy saw him go down a snake, so that guy's trying to go to a bigger bunker to be able to see stuff. And he just set it up, baited it, and then they hit the shot, obviously. And then being head on a swivel to get the trade with Cody makes it a no point. That's that's game changing right there. Yeah, exactly. We would have went down 2-0, or we stay where we were, or I think it would have been 2-1. We stay where we are with 1-1. So
and now you have momentum too. It's like, damn, okay, let's go get this.
Because I think I still don't know for sure if it was a 2-on-4 or a 2-on-5 with he and I. But that was the game with the Thomas penalty where I filled over to the cake. I'm pretty confident it's a 2-on-5, because if Thomas got a major, it pulls out 2.
Was it a major that Thomas got when he came through the center?
That's what I said. I said I didn't know if it was a minor or a major. Someone told me it was a major, and when you watch it, you can't actually tell what the flag is, or if they pull 2, because it looks like Mouse shoots somebody kind of at the same time. but there's a ref kind of running to him at the same time. So it's kind of weird
Gotcha.
if you got a minor or a major. But
Gotcha.
Dude, regardless, you guys are not supposed to win that situation.
That's word for what I was about to say. It's a 2-on-4 in finals. We should never win that.
No.
Like it's even with the penalty, it shouldn't happen. And all that is kind of what I said earlier. It's a little mental lapse, not playing together. That's
dude, and then
like.
we got to see the signature roar after you beat that point. That was like, damn, he's ready.
The signature roar. I'll never forget when you did that to us in 2018 AC, and ever since then I hate the roar. But I you know what? I actually liked it. I actually liked it this time. I actually liked it. I was like, you know what? There you go, man. There you go.
Yeah. So, someone asked me after, like, yo, like, what is it? Like, why do you do it? And I was like, honestly, I don't know why I ever started it. I don't know what it is that made me want to do it. But it's kind of one of those things like, it's
can't contain it.
It just
the
comes
joke
out
that
of
I
you.
say. It does. It really does. It's the joke that I say is kind of like, get off me, get off my back kind of thing. And that's really what I felt like on that one. Because I didn't even know Cody died on that point.
Oh, damn.
I actually, they said, so there's a little shot from that Snake Aztec all the way over to that tall cake. So I shot that shot, and then I actually shot in front of the Dorito too, just in case he actually was going to make the move. So I shot that and then shot that, and then checked off the corner to make the move to go through. And as I basically left my bunker, Dave was telling me, he's like, no, it's like one of you guys just ripped Cody right off the field. So right there, it was already a 3-on-2.
Nice.
And then just, I had looked at the route to block out that corner to be able to get a snake guy out. We had success against you guys in practice using that tall tower. And I think you guys even did it against us to kill us out of the snake. So we all kind of knew, like, hey, you know, if this is a situation, you can use this tower to go get the snake guy out and still probably be alive. And that's really all it was a few steps in to block out the corner, go forward, get Thomas out of the snake. And then I actually still thought Cody was alive. If you look at it, I actually like wrap all the way around after me and Mouse shoot the corner guy to see if he's still there. And Cody was actually on the back line walking out.
Real quick, I just want to touch on that again too, because most of our listeners are divisional players. You know, they look up to all the stuff we do. And I just love pointing out, because it's so similar and consistent amongst, you know, the players that make these great moves in high pressure situations. It's not just you're out there winging it, right? You already knew you already done the homework. Like, hey, if this situation presents itself at the event, this is the way we can break it down. If they get deep into the snake, you know, and other bodies are set up in A, B, and C, you can go into this tower and make that elimination. You know, like this is how we approach practices. This is the kind of stuff that we're looking for when we're trying to break down fields and figure out how we're going to win on a layout, you know? And it's so crucial. You know, I'm sure I don't know actually if you do many clinics. You don't have a huge presence on social media, but do you do clinics and stuff like that?
John and I used to do them all the time here in Houston. And then once we started playing in Dallas, we kind of stopped doing it a little bit just because of, he has the paintball store that he does, plug the Pro Edge paintball here in Houston.
Yeah. Okay. Shout out.
Yes.
Shout out to Pro Edge. Dude, your brother's the man, by the way. I just got to give him a quick plug. He sent me a jersey that a girl, Haley at I'm sure you know Haley Leva, shout out to their family. He sent me an old school Dynasty jersey, and he sent me a bunch of AC Dallas stickers with it. I thought that was pretty funny. Like, tight.
That's awesome. Yeah. So ever since practicing in Dallas, way less just time in Houston ultimately. So that's kind of the big reason why we stopped doing it. We actually were trying to do one next weekend. I don't even know if it's going to happen, just with stuff that's been going on, busy, and, you know, obviously like life in general, pretty much. But we used to do them all the time. But that's something that we used to talk about all the time, is like, when you're going into an event, this is like for any divisional player, any division at all, if you know the field, or if you know your side of the field, you can be a perfectionist at your side of the field. Like, I guarantee you, Tyler, you know that whole Dorito side, like you know everything about it. Right?
When I close my eyes, I can see the whole field.
Exactly. Right. Like you're not thinking, all right, well, this guy's here, do I have a shot on that? You're like, okay, I can go to this Dorito and shoot this guy, because like you already know it. Right. So I've preached for years to the divisional guys, like, look, man, if you're going to play the snake side, know the whole snake side. Know if I slide into here and I hear the, the Dorito can or 4 or whatever your call is for the specific bunker, you need to know where you need to be able to shoot that guy, or know that he can't shoot you, right? Like there's two pieces of it. So that's a huge thing. And that's all, this goes back to what I kind of touched on earlier, is control what you can control. If you can learn the field and you know it with closing your eyes, all right, like you've done your homework, Now you just got to go out there and actually execute it and do the role or whatever it may be on the field. So what you're saying, Marcelo, is like, yeah, I already knew that move. I knew I could, walk to this spot, block out this guy, run forward, shoot the guy. At this point, I'm going to be exposed to the Dorito 1 guy if he's there, right? If there is no Dorito 1, I'm perfectly fine.
Yeah.
So, just do the homework before. That's the big thing.
That's what it comes down to,
Yeah, they give us the layouts weeks in advance. And if you don't know the layout, that's on you. That's not on your teammates. That's not on the coach. That's on you as an individual. That's the biggest thing that I would say on that. And that's, that's like, I was gonna say, like, that's the same thing with Mouse, right? Like Mouse knew if he goes to snake 1, he can see that Dorito guy coming to our Dorito, right? Like I guarantee you, he knows that going into it, right? Like there's no question. So that's when you see these, like, these amazing, spectacular moves. Like when you actually break it down, it's not, I say this kind of jokingly, it's not as impressive once you actually kind of think about it. But at the same time, like, having that setup already, and then actually being able to execute it. Because part of paintball too is, I'll always preach this, there's sometimes you want to be a little lucky. Say Mouse has a ball that goes a little squirrely and he misses the Dorito guy.
Right.
He just set that up and he did everything he could, but he had
and now he's in the little
barrel.
Knuckle 2-on-1.
Yep. Now it's the worst move of the tournament because he should have just stayed in the corner.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, it was definitely fun to watch. That does bring up another good question. How do you feel about layout releases versus blind layouts?
I always kind of have arguments on this with people. I feel like there's two sides of it. If you're a field owner, you got to have the layout come out because people are going to practice. And being people practicing means you're either entry fees or paint or whatever the money maker side of it is. If there is no layout, you'll have a lot of people that just won't play as much. I think that's just kind of how it is. I think it's good for the sport because, the more that we're at paintball fields, any high level of anything, the more that they're seen, the more that they're there, I think that's better for everybody. It would be interesting to have an event where it is a blind layout, but I don't know. I actually think it ends up being, you kind of end up watching bad paintball because that is my argument the whole time is I think you watch a higher level of paintball when the layout's released because you have the greatest minds that are like dissecting that. And you have the OGs, the old heads that are like, no, the better paintballers would be able to figure it out quicker. And I'm just like, dude, I get that, but no, like we all know that you get the high, like that move Mouse made maybe doesn't get found, which that was like a great moment in the event, an MVP type moment, maybe doesn't get found if you just show up to the event and have, maybe he just sits in the corner and it's a boring 2-on-1. No, for sure. I totally agree. It's like when we grew up, I don't know if it was the same for you guys. I'm sure it was. I don't know what division what you guys were doing in like 04, but when we went to an MPPL, we had 8 prelim games and generally that was on 8 different fields. So we had to go walk 8 fields and like figure out game plan on the die field, game plan on the angel field, right? Like you have all these things and then you go to the finals field and you're like, hey, I haven't even played or walked the finals field. Right. So now we got to go look at it in between games. So then you just come up with some kind of like, hey, this guy can look at this guy can look at this. All right, like let's pray for the best kind of deal. But the layouts coming out, the Russians are always one of the most impressive because they come up with some off the wall stuff. Like Sergey's size is kind of uncomparable. Like Tyler, you're tall, but I think I even think Sergey's
he's a monster.
Right? Yeah, like Sergey's going to play a spot completely different from anyone, and they're going to look at that because Sergey's going to play that spot. You know what I mean? Like it changes the whole game because the layout comes out and they look at it as like, well, hey, we can do this because we have this body style or this height advantage. Or Chad George is 5 foot nothing. He can make every spot on the whole field because he's so small and he slides so low, right? Like there's all these things that they can mess around with because the layout comes out ahead of time. So I think it's good all around for the sport, but like kind of like what you said, Marcelo, I get the argument for both, but I think without it, it's bad and people would just play less. So, and I think that's bad. That's worse than anything else.
I know I liked you, Matt Jackson. There we go. There we go.
He's got a vote.
That's the reason.
That's it, dude. That's it. We did it. Hang up right there, man.
The Russians, man, they I think they had a little bit different roster, right? This event just because of everything that's going on. Hopefully they can, get everybody back out and keep being the dominant force that they are. But it was kind of weird to see them, not go the distance and really get
Right.
deep in the
I
tournament.
mean, even with their slim roster, the pickup of Mike Waring, which I think that's awesome for him. Congrats to him on getting
Congrats,
that
brother.
opportunity. Honestly, we joked about it. If Karslev or Pasha, his other name, basically, if he was on this field, he would have been a nightmare to play against.
Yeah,
true.
Any Dorito attacker that is relentless. Tyler, you're one of them. Literally was terrible and terrifying to play against. Karslev would have been rough on this layout, and he probably would have been a deciding factor, I think, for them. And that's no disrespect to Mike, because I think Mike played really good with them. And obviously there's a huge language barrier, so that's even tougher, and I can't imagine that. But them with no Kirill, no Karslev, I think that's a third or fourth for them. I don't remember what they ended up with. I think that's a really good showing for them with a shorter roster.
Dude, the way that they just kind of next man up and still over the years have just consistently produced just really shows how successful their organization has been, you know, like, and what they do behind the scenes, how they practice, how they prepare, their philosophy, it works, you know, it really does. It's impressive. I think as well, Kirill kind of doesn't get enough credit. I think having him obviously at Cup and at this last event, he's the glue of that team. He really is, as far as communication, teamwork, and like the consistency off the break shooting. Yeah, when they come back, I wonder if they'll keep Waring. You know, I bet they will. I think he played pretty well.
I think he played really good.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, it's only going to get better just because you're going to pick up, you know, a little bit of different bunker calls, and the communication is going to get better just because he's going to be around it more.
Totally.
I think it worked out really good, and he's athletic, right? I think that's tough to find a lot of times, and people that are really dedicated to playing paintball with that body style that can keep going in the heat and things like that. That's massive.
I think that's actually why they didn't go further, to be honest. I think they just lost gas against Infamous, you know.
The style that they play, I think they run around a little bit too much. At times, I would say at times they run around a little bit too much. And obviously that's more tiring than just kind of sitting and chilling like Infamous played the layout. And I think it's tougher too, because you have to move and hit the good shots, while as if they're just kind of chilling, you know, I have this opportunity here. Well, if he gets to that one, I have this opportunity here. And, you know, those shots are way easier to hit than you know, crawling down the snake and coming up with 3 guns on you, and so on and so forth.
I think paintball is more physical now than it's ever been in the history of the game. In order to win a paintball tournament, your whole entire roster has to be pretty well conditioned, you know, to go and play finals and win finals. It's a lot of work. And if the entire organization isn't athletic, I don't know that you can do it right now. I honestly, truly believe that.
I think it's apparent some of the best players are obviously some of the most physically fit. I'm no physical specimen by any means.
But no. You've been working, buddy. We've been watching, and actually one of our followers, one of our Patreon teammates from our Discord has a question for you. He was wondering, you know, you look a little faster, and have you been working out, eating differently since joining Impact? What do you got going on that aspect?
This is actually, it's kind of funny you say that. It's something that my girlfriend and I joked about a little bit. You know, what can I control? I can control my fitness. I can control me not being tired. I can control, you know, all of those things. So yeah, last year was probably the most out of shape I've ever been. Obviously the COVID year, I think, kind of hit everybody a little bit. So you know, that's a big part of it. But since the end of 2020, my girlfriend has this little home workout program that she does. It's called Beachbody. And I've messed with some of their programs. They have this one that's all at home. It's sick. One of the workouts, or most of the workouts, are only 30 to 45 minutes, and one of them have like 175 squats or something absurd, right? Like, so your legs are just burning. And I did the program for about 3 weeks, and then went to the first Impact practice, and I was running around, and I literally got done and was like, I feel great. This is badass.
All right. So for everybody out there, Beachbody, go get it.
Dude, that is so crazy.
Legit though, if you are trying to like get into it, if you have any questions, my girl, that's Sharky_fitness. She will love you. I will love you. I will do anything, answer any questions. She's trying to get on this path to try to like promote this.
Okay. Well, hold on. Let's plug it one more time. Give them where they need to go.
So her Instagram handle is Sharky_fitness. I'm gonna double check just to make sure.
Okay.
But
there we go.
the actual program itself, they have all these at-home workouts. They have supplements. They have all this kind of stuff.
Awesome.
That's actually what I've been doing to actually try to get a little bit better shape and things like that.
Cool.
But yeah,
Well, get ready, because the listeners are gonna be ringing on in.
Dude, that's so funny. So Beachbody is this is not financial advice. Just got to throw that out there.
Yeah.
But
they went public.
Yeah, through a SPAC, FRX. I'm like heavily
Yep.
invested in FRX.
Yep.
That's so funny, dude. And they merged with Mixed Bikes. It's like a competitor to Peloton.
Yeah.
The whole Beachbody program, dude, they crush it. They've been crushing it for a long time. So yeah, that's funny to hear you say that on the show.
What was it called? P90X. And then there's another one that used to be really popular way back in the day. It's all Beachbody apparently.
Yeah, I just realized I really want to clarify. I think I said I'm a huge investor, not in comparison to the company, just in my own investment. Like they have a big chunk of my personal funds, which is minuscule. Just to clarify. But yeah, dude, badass. I'm gonna have to check it out.
It's super cool. So that's what I've been doing, just try to do my part, because kind of what we touched on earlier is if I'm not physically capable to play every point, then how is Dave going to be able to be confident in me to play every point on Sunday? So that's what I have to do. And me not being responsible for other things on the team, right? Like on AC, me, John, TJ, and some of the guys, we did a lot of stuff off the field as well. But obviously coming over to Impact, my job is to be a paintball player, right? I gotta, eat the right things, or, treat my body the right way, and all this kind of stuff, be ready to play. So that's something I've really kind of taken to heart, because I say this kind of not really jokingly, but kind of joking at the same time. Like, I don't want to let Bart and the guys down by picking me up, and me not actually doing what I'm supposed to do. So I've kind of taken it a little bit more seriously since joining the team, because now I have to.
Yeah, it's a big gamble too, right? Because with AC Dallas, you guys were on the brink of finding that success, and obviously it's a good story. It's a team that you chopped at the bit with. Like you went pro with them, and I think a lot of people wanted to see you guys win with that organization as well, right? So I mean, what you're getting yourself into when you made the move, and so to come out first event with the team and get that win definitely means a lot, and to contribute the way you did. So yeah, man, I totally understand that.
Yeah, and that's I'll be transparent. That's one of the biggest fears I ever had of leaving. A team like AC, was going to a team and getting a win and not being on the field. Me, TJ, and John have talked about that for years. It's like, I don't want to go to a team and be on the sidelines for Sunday and get a win, because that's not going to be a win in my book. Sure, you know what I mean? Right. It's a W on my, APPA and all that kind of stuff. And I get a post about it, but
just messes up your ranking, dude.
That's all it does. That's all it does. So yeah, getting to actually make the move to Impact, and then being able to contribute to the win itself, and then having a good finals. Playing good in finals is a really, really big relief. Being on a new team, being that, that kind of, not necessarily an alternate, but having that kind of looming over you, right? If you don't play good in finals, then next time you come to finals, maybe Dave's like, he didn't really handle the pressure good. You know what I mean? So like, there's all of these things that are going through your head.
Yeah. And I think that organization is kind of known for having their players on the shortest leash, you can't really make many mistakes. Dave is quick to put you on the bench, and rightfully so. I mean, you have so many talented players around you, why not? Why wouldn't you? If someone's not getting it done, next man up. But that's hard. That's a hard situation to play in and perform in, I know me personally, I've always said, like, every time Impact picks up another player, that's the first thing I say is, well, see how they deal with the beast over there, and how that works. So man, you handled it obviously excellent. You guys are sitting here with the win.
Yeah. We can't wait to have Dave on someday soon too, and pick his brain. He's just a mogul. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, the guy has done everything that you can do in paintball twice, and has a field, and now runs one of the most successful paintball teams to play in the sport. It's pretty astounding what Dave has accomplished as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I told Dave that a long time ago. I was like, one of the biggest reasons that I want to come to Impact is obviously him, Justin, and then Zach, right? Like, Zach Yakimak, someone that I've looked up to, is playing a 2-spot for a long, long time. And then obviously Justin Rabikoff, right? Like, there's it's hard to argue that, who is the best current player kind of deal, who's contributed to more wins in the recent history. Like, you have these specific specifications, because obviously you got dudes that have been playing for a long time with a lot of wins, but I think, having those two guys on the same team plus Dave, for me to not come here, I felt like I was kind of a fool to not be able to come and learn from everybody and kind of make myself get better. You know, if it didn't work out, if anything, I'll improve my game and improve my knowledge. So kind of go from there. But I don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon. So
no, man. Yeah, you're in a good spot. And Dave, like, I'm so fortunate. I grew up in NorCal, Dave Baines, and like the whole cap factory conglomerate that they had. So it's been amazing to watch his journey and obviously watch how they continue to dynamically pick up players and make things happen every single season. And I feel like the Impact guys, you guys do have one of the most physical teams in the league, which is gonna, you know, obviously play into you guys' favor. You know,
it's a lot of the young. I mean, we're not young anymore, but like, like, how old are you, Matt?
I'm 32. I'm actually
32.
I'm older compared to a lot of these guys.
Yeah, we're all in a similar, you know, like the 28 to 32. That is like like where the dynasty guys were when they were 30, right? They were the young guys, but then it had reached their prime, kind of. You know, I feel like Impact has a lot of those of our era, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Totally. And so it's it is cool. Tyler, I agree with you. Definitely one of the most physically, you know, capable, and then just the experience on the team is second to none, really.
Yeah. So we got to get your grassroots stories on paintball and like how you got into this game and everything. So what was your first paintball experience? How did you get hooked by this crazy paintball game?
Yeah, so brother and I obviously been playing forever. We I think it was his friends actually. He was 12 years old. I was 10 years old. We got invited to go to a birthday party here in Houston. The typical MO went to a birthday party, and I probably shot like 40 paintballs the whole day. Didn't shoot a body. Had like 5 pairs of pants on, 2 hoodies, like a jacket over that. Was terrified the whole time and loved it. So then we just basically started playing. Back when we played, we used to split a 500 round bag for a whole day of play, because a case of paintballs was like $115 or something like that at the time. Shout out to my mom, single mom, raising me and my brother. Couldn't exactly afford to you know, bankroll $115 a case of paint constantly. So we were shooting basically no paintballs in comparison to what we play now. Playing in the woods for like 2-3 years. And then we ran into someone that was talking about like a 3-man tournament here in Houston. And we like begged our mom, hey mom, can just take us so we can watch it. Like take us so we can, you know, learn or figure out what this is. We went out and watched the tournament, and I was terrified. Honestly, I'm not shy about this at all. I had no interest in playing tournament paintball. My brother was like, so I started playing when I was 10. I was probably 12 or 13. I gotta grab a calculator. Hold on.
So yeah, it's probably like 90, or I'm sorry, like 02.
Yeah, well, 2000, 2001 maybe. Yeah, 2000 to 2002, something like that. And we went and saw this 3-man tournament, and John was just like, oh yeah, we got to do this. This is sick. And I'm over here like, no, this is terrifying. I don't want to do it. So in 2001, 2002, we ended up picking some guy. John put an ad in Paintball Extreme magazine in Houston, Texas for a third for our 3-man team. This is crazy story. Got some like 45-year-old dude that like creeped John out, and he's like, oh, I don't know, like just hung up on the guy. And then talked to a buddy, we still know him to this day, Brian Whiting. He was from Kingwood, which is like kind of like 45 minutes, an hour north of where we were. He was like, yo, I got my own equipment, I want to come play with you guys. So then it was me, him, John, Brian, and then we picked up this kid that played at the local field. And we went to our first tournament, and I didn't play the first, like we had like 8 prelim games. I didn't play the first like 5 games because I was so scared. And the kid that had the Angel and had all his own equipment was terrible. It was so bad that I was like, all right, I got to play. And I don't remember if it was the first game I played or like if it was our last prelim game, but I ended up winning like a 1-on-1 or something like that. And I was just sold. Like I was like, all right, I'm never turning back. I'm never going to not play. And then from there, you know, playing 3-mans and 5-mans in Texas for what seemed like forever. Cause I guess it actually really wasn't that long, because we won our first national. We went to Cup in 2003. So it was probably 2000. It was probably 2000 when we like found out about the 3-man thing, because we played for about 2 or 3 years. And then 2003, we went to our first World Cup, and it was the last year that they did X-Ball, like actual X-Ball. Tyler, I think you were on Oakland Assassins with Glenn and Travis Dusek. And you guys had a Bad News Bears line. I don't know if you remember this.
I do.
So this is how young we were back in the day. Like you guys are already playing pro basically. And we went and got like 6 out of 140 teams or something like that. So like we crushed it. And looking back at it now, the top like 5 teams, it was like y'all a Dynasty's old semi-pro team. I can't remember what you got. Entourage. It was some of the Dynasty Entourage kids. What turned into Aftermath. I think Mouse, or I can't remember who it was. It was basically someone real big was on one of the 5-man teams that basically we lost to in a sense. So we're like, we lost to teams that had like all went pro and we were 6th. So it's like, all right, like looking back at it now, we're like, we really didn't do that bad. And then 04, we went to an MPPL, Huntington Beach. The first year they did turf on the sand. And we won.
That was
Division
amazing.
3.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
Yeah. I miss Huntington Beach so much because you could just walk down the pier, watch games. There's people everywhere. So different from obviously what the tournaments are now. But that was the beginning of the end, because once we got into the national stuff, there's no turning back to play locals or anything like that. So
of course. And 3-man paintball is such a great entryway into the sport. That's how I got started in tournament paintball, was playing 3-man events. And then we always talk about that moment where you won that one-on-one. It's like life-changing, and a lot of the players that go on to have successful careers, you ask them about a moment like that and they're like, I had that moment early and it hooked me, and then I just can't get enough of this game.
I've pretty much played every sport that was available to me, and this is the only thing that I've ever really kind of stuck it out with. I probably could have got a track scholarship running a 400 in high school.
No shit.
Wow.
I for some reason the 400, I just crushed it. I could run it and was so good at it. But my high school coaches, obviously being in Texas, because I played football, ran track, played soccer for a little bit, and obviously still played paintball. They basically gave me an ultimatum. They're like, hey, if you're gonna miss a track meet or you're gonna miss a football game, you're cut. Like we can't have this. You gotta pick your friends here, or you're gonna pick your bullshit paintball friends.
See ya.
And I'll never forget it. I was in the office with 6 coaches, and I literally just like dropped the shit and walked out. And I was like, it's not even a conversation. So,
paintball, baby.
I love that, dude.
Let's go.
I love it. I think you made the right choice, man.
I think so too. This John will love this if he watches this. He put an ad in the year we graduated, the year we won a tournament. He put an ad in the high school yearbook, because they obviously they approached Pro Edge, or we had some connection or whatever it was. We put an ad in the yearbook basically saying Jackson Brothers, Jersey Village graduates win national tournament paintball, like blah, 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 blah.
Oh, that's tight.
This real big ad. And John was like, let
them know. You got to let them know.
even if they didn't see it, it was still there. So
it's there forever.
Yep.
I'm sorry if you said this already. John's your older brother, right?
John's older brother. Yeah.
What's the age difference?
2.5. 2.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, that's just awesome. Like my sons, they're about 2.5 years. I got my 5 and my 3-year-old. And where did you guys grow up exactly? Just so I know exactly where you guys live.
Houston, always been in Houston. Pretty much people call it North Houston, but Houston's massive. So I just call it Houston, and people that live here, they can decipher all the little different areas, but for everybody else, it's just Houston.
Are you a Rockets fan?
I'm not. I don't really watch basketball, honestly. But I went to some Rockets games. Basketball games are actually pretty cool to watch. I'd rather go to a Rockets game than an Astros game, just because I can't stand watching baseball. But, Astros fans are easy to be Astros fans because they were winning. So a lot of those.
Dude, paintball in Texas has been booming. What's it been like, throughout your paintball career, watching the Texas paintball scene flourish the way it has?
Yeah, so it's actually kind of a funny conversation, because pretty much this whole concept of me coming up and, I say this just now winning a pro tournament, if we probably would have been anywhere else but Texas, say we're in California or East Coast, I would have probably been playing pro before all of this, like before we did. But our actual tournament, the competitive side of Houston paintball has actually been pretty atrocious over the years. We were pretty much the only team that's ever had any success coming out of Houston. There's some divisional stuff, and John and I's original team was Organized Chaos. That was the 3-man team that we carry on, and then went all the way up through 7-mans. And then when that team died, that's when he and I joined the VCK team. And then the VCK era was Division II, Division One. Basically, we won Division One, and then that was the year they did the Champions and Challengers. So we were kind of like asterisk pro, you know what I mean? Because it was still semi-pro, but not pro, whatever.
Yeah, it was weird.
And then from the VCK, we went to AC. But I tried out on multiple teams. So like the Houston actual competitive scene of it is actually pretty bad in comparison. But the actual power, I guess you could say, of Texas, obviously with X Factor, the AC guys and AC kind of program up in Dallas, and then, you know, the VCK time here in Houston really kind of grew Texas overall, because we've had these kind of, you know, there's three big meccas, and the three good teams that were kind of like, you know, building people to play and kind of stimulating the whole idea of these divisional people having someone to look up to. So now almost every NXL that you see, there's probably, you know, 4 or 5 Texas teams in top 4 in almost every division, or, you know, whatever it is. It's just crazy how many teams there are. And then of course the industry itself in Texas is pretty awesome all around, because generally speaking, you can play all around here unless it's just too hot. But even then, obviously you have people still playing because they'll go play for an hour.
2006, that PSP out there was in
not
Austin. It was ice
hot.
cold, ice bowl.
Yep.
That was nuts.
The craziest part of that whole thing was it was 75 and sunny the first 2 days, and then it was like 30 degrees for the last 2 days. Horrible.
Crazy.
Yep.
Who were you playing with at that time?
So that's a funny event. I actually played 2 different divisions that event. I played D2 with a team called like Dahmer or something. Some guy basically just put a team together. And then I also played D2. I played D4 with some random team because I didn't have a PSP ranking. And there was still sideline coaching. So John would coach me from the sideline. I'd get like 4 or 5 kills a game because it's just like, I shouldn't be playing the division as it is. And so I feel so bad about it, but we made Sunday in that team, and it was so cold. One of the last games I played on Saturday, I got bunkered through my profilers, and my lip swelled up like,
oh no,
it was like a roll of quarters, how big my bottom lip was. So I had like no interest in playing on Sunday, even though I made the finals with that team, or made Sunday with that team. I was just like, I'm not going. Like, I'm not doing it. This is miserable. And I just wanted to go home because my lip hurt so bad. And it was craziness. But so I was playing D2 and D4 in 06.
Nice. Cool.
But Tyler, you were actually at a tryout that I did. I tried out for Bob Long's Assassins at Dave's Field.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
You used to call me Red Maserati because I had a
Maserati.
Red Maserati.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, that sounds like dope. Tyler for sure.
Hey, I knew.
Dude, hey, I balled out that weekend, and everyone thought I was cheating. So I'm pretty sure that's why I didn't make the team.
You tried out for the LA Ironman too, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah, man, dude, a lot of teams messed up. They passed up on you back then. All they had to do was gamble a little bit, and shit, dude, maybe they'd be the champs right now.
You never know. Never know. Yep.
Dude, Texas paintball is an inspiration for so many states across the country and like across the world for that matter, because of, like you said, the pockets of the community that have really nurtured the game and developed great players and just really cared about paintball. I think that's such a huge thing that everybody who plays paintball from every corner of the world can walk away from and like learn from how we can nurture the game and really develop it, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is actually something we wanted to do to kind of like display that almost. So right now in the pro league, VCK players, you have Devin and Nico on Heat. Right. Well, Ryan Smith also played 1 year with VCK as well. You have TJ on X Factor, me obviously on Impact, John on Ironman. I think that's like the 6 or 7 of us. So literally of the VCK guys, we've have, you know,
infiltration.
Sprawling,
Nice.
We're spies everywhere.
Yeah, you guys have infiltrated big time.
Kind of like Aftermath.
Yeah.
We got Aftermath alumni everywhere, all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. So I want to dip back into your journey, like as a paintball player and your tournament career. I think we left off right before you said that was it. It was like no turning back, and then take us from there.
Yeah, 04. That's what we're talking about. We won a Huntington Beach 7-man Division 3 or Division 4, whatever it was at the time.
Yeah.
And the crazy part about that, this is like, to all the listeners that you guys struggle to pay for the events. We did all of it. We literally panhandled on the side of the road with signs trying to get money to go to the events. So when we won Huntington Beach, we couldn't play the next event because we couldn't afford the entry fees and the hotels and everything. So when we won, we had to skip an event, earn money during that, and then play the third event. So we won Huntington Beach, made a bunch of money, won Denver, made a bunch of money, obviously, in between that. And then we got third at the last event of that year in San Diego in Mppl. But literally, we were doing the whole like Snickers bars, M&Ms at high schools, trying to earn money. And all of it went to the paintball team. I started working when I was 14 years old at a paintball field, working. At the time, you weren't actually supposed to be able to work to be able to afford to play and afford to make money. So that was like the divisional stuff was literally just this constant battle of us trying to be able to afford practices, afford going to the tournaments and things like that. And we would just scour, at this time, there was a lot of local tournaments. There was probably significantly more than there are now. And the prizes used to be better. I'll never forget it. We won some tournament in San Diego that gave away 5 PM5s, I think it was, or 5 PM6s. And those guns sold for like $800 each. So obviously, like, that is just massive money back then, right? That's all your airfares, entry fee. And, we always worked at some kind of field or had a relationship with a field or store. So we had discounts on paint at the events too. But literally Division 3, Division 2 was constant struggle. I don't think we ever played a full season because of just money issues. And then
Dude, that's impressive, man. That really is. But when you love something so much, it's not really like, it's like, that's just what you have to do because you know what you got to do to get it done, to get to the next one, Yeah.
And that's really kind of the best way of saying it. It didn't feel like work because it was like, like, this is what I want. So this is what I have to do. And it was just kind of, let's figure it out. My mom, Mama Jackson, was the team mom, driving us all around everywhere.
Shout out to Mom.
Dealing with all of us little hood rats constantly. So shout out to her and just mad respect for her keeping us with it and always being supportive of it because, if you have family that doesn't understand, that's real tough. We've had plenty of teammates. I'm sure you guys have had teammates over the years too that, can't commit to paintball because of a girlfriend or a mom or a dad or, whatever it may be. So having kind of a support system is just massive to be able to keep you in this.
It's everything. And huge shout out to all the paintball moms out there. It's going to be Mother's Day soon. So thank you, everybody out there.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Sunday.
Yeah. It's coming up.
So yeah, that was the struggles for basically a number of years. I can't think of which year it was when we joined VCK, but ultimately the downfall of our team, we drove to a Denver tournament, did horrible. Like back in the Mppl days, you basically had to go like 6-2 in prelims to be able to make the cut because of how many teams there were. We went like 4-4, something like that, didn't make the cut. Everyone's pissed off. We have an 18-hour drive back home because it was cheaper to drive than it was to fly, obviously.
Do you hear that, people? Dedication. Do you hear that? Yeah. Let's go.
Yep. Yeah. So whatever kind of implosion happened on OC, that's kind of what happened. And then at that point, me and John were kind of like, man, I don't know what I want to do. It's like, we didn't want to start a new team. There weren't really any teams in Houston that we were like, we're super gung-ho about joining. Somehow, I don't even remember what it was, but we got in contact with the VCK guys, and Cam McCarty is one of the big guys that we've known for a long time. He's played with Diesel a little bit here and there over the last few years. He was kind of our connection to the whole VCK group. And he and John and I kind of talked about doing it. I went and joined them before John did and just kind of played a little bit with them. And then D2 with them, I think we played 2 or 3 seasons, earned a spot in D1 or just kind of like bumped up to D1, had a pretty bad mediocre season in D1. And somewhere in the end of D2, beginning of D1, John joined, and it's kind of that, a lot of teams have this moment where it's a group of friends. You kind of have to decide, hey, are we going to do this as friends, or are we going to actually really try to compete? And there's a lot of people that they kind of want to slide somewhere in between, but it's tough to be able to do both. And John kind of had this. John was the hammer ultimately that drove that home. was like, hey, if you guys want to do good, this is what we got to do. We kind of cut some people into, we created 2 teams. Ultimately, we had a VCK D2 and then a VCK D1. And that's when TJ Danner joined, and we ended up just winning, I think, 2 or 3 events that year, won the whole season, and then earned that semi-pro challenger spot, whatever you want to call it. So that's a tough thing.
I think that's such an important conversation to have. We get reached out to quite a bit, maybe you do as well, from players that are struggling to find. Actually, one of our Patreon teammates as well is kind of dealing with a similar thing, but it's like, I'm on this team that has a lot of talent, but their commitment's not there. Like, what should I do? Should I, and that's one of the first things I always say is you need to have the conversation with them. Like, how serious do we want to be? And if that doesn't align with what you're trying to do, then you should probably find yourself a new situation, because you could have all the talent, but if you don't have a certain level of dedication, it's going to be very hard to win unless you're sandbagging. But if you're in a division where talent is equal, or even close, the people that work the hardest are going to be rewarded typically, more times than not. And that's a very important conversation to have when you're looking for a team, is what are your intentions here? Are we here to have fun, have a good time? Are we a travel team, like a club organization, or are we here to take this shit real serious? We're not going to get away from our, girlfriends or work, we're going because we want to focus and win. It's 2 completely different things, right?
For sure.
And it requires 2 completely different, types of dedication and sacrifice and all that kind of stuff. So it's an important conversation to have. Yeah. I'm glad you touched on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's something that happens at any division too. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be a high level paintball team, because, obviously going to Florida with your family and, if you don't make Sunday, have a backup plan to do something with your family. So then they're rewarded by, being there to support you. That's something I kind of joke about all the time, which NXL's done a really good job of trying to pick better spots to, bring people, bring girlfriends, bring families and all this kind of stuff. So there's kind of that, you kind of have that balance, happy medium of, I want to do my thing, but
I don't want anyone there.
No.
It's, it's such a bummer. I always felt bad because my dad used to come to quite a few events. I've had family come, and obviously I love it, but at the same time, it's always like, it's a little bit of a distraction. I'm like, I got to make sure that you're comfortable, you're okay. And you're doing this. I'm like, something in my mind is thinking about you. And I just prefer to be 100%. My family got to a point to where if they would come, they wouldn't even tell me that they were there and message me sometimes, that I would feel like a jerk, but I'm like, I don't know. I like to get super laser focused and dialed in and not have any kind of distractions. But I do agree with you. The NXL has done a great job of allowing that opportunity to, and obviously it's different for, divisional players and
yeah, for sure.
So when did the AC Dallas journey start? Like, at what point did you went from VCK to AC Dallas? Is that right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So what year did you get on with AC?
So we were pro on AC for, I think it was 4 or 5 years. So I think that would have been 2017 ish, something like that. And that's actually kind of a funny story too, because on VCK, we won that Challengers Champions, or spot or whatever. And we only played 1 season in VCK in that top 20 pro, semi-pro team thing. And we did okay. The first event, I think we got 3rd in the Challengers thing. So you had to get 1st or 2nd to be able to bump up to play the top 10 pro teams. So we got 3rd. Obviously, that's like basically 13th out of the 20 teams, right? That's the kind of the way that they used to break it down. So we were super confident and super happy about that. Next event, I think we actually, the next event we got 2nd, because I think we lost to Art Chaos or something like that. So obviously we're like, no big deal here. We just lost to this powerhouse team. And then we played in the actual top 10 pros at Riverside, that California Riverside event that had like the immaculate grass. Yeah. And like the place we'll never go back to. Yeah. And we just got slaughtered. We went 0-5.
Dude, we did terrible out there too. Dynasty. God.
That's the same event you guys got knocked down too. I forgot about that, I think.
We were wearing those damn football jersey looking things.
Yep. You'll never forget the bad jerseys. I love it. So then we got just slaughtered that event. Everyone, obviously everyone kind of got demoralized on that. And the next event, whatever it was. At the end of the season, we had a bunch of guys that were kind of dealing with just life in general. I don't know if you guys know him. His name is Mitch Andrus. He played with us. He wasn't really in it for a long time. But I'll give this guy props for until the day that I die. But he was doing this thing where he was renting out washers and dryers to apartment complexes in Austin, because apparently complexes they didn't do washers and dryers, but they had all the hookups. So he basically like through some connections, like got a guy that like sold or rented washers and dryers, got some guys with trucks and trailers to be able to deliver them, like, and just kind of like third party this thing. And now he's just crushing it. So his business was taking off during our VCK year. And at the end of the year, he's like, yo, like, I can't miss the opportunity of making all this money and play paintball. Cam McCarty was trying to get a real corporate, real job, basically. We had some other guys going to college or something like that. So VCK, the 1 year that we basically earned the pro spot, basically we're just going to be ending it right after that. So the end of that year, Nico, Devin, and TJ all went to go try out for AC. And they actually did a tryout in Houston, and John and I actually didn't know about it until the weekend before. And Greg or someone's heard, Greg Pauly heard that John and I were trying to find a team, because we reached out to, this is actually funny plug too, we reached out to 187, we reached out to Boom, and there was someone else that we reached out to, and we're like, yo, we'll do what we got to do to earn a spot, pay for our plane tickets, whatever we got to do. And basically like just didn't get anything back. They told us to kick rocks.
Interesting.
Yeah. So Greg Pauly heard about that from someone and was like, yo, hey, come try out. We're going to be at this field, on this date. And John and I went and tried out, and, basically all the VCK guys made AC. At one point we had a whole VCK line, Devin, Nico, TJ, myself, and John. So basically 5 of those guys all just switched over to AC. And then we had the 5 years on AC. And kind of went from there.
Greg Pauly, what a guy that man is. Really tremendous at nurturing talent and finding talent, and just has been in the game for so long. And huge shout out to him and everything that he's done. So what did AC Dallas teach you moving like to where you are right now? I mean, they've had a tremendous role in your development. So just talk to me about AC Dallas and what that camp means to you.
Yeah, for sure. The opportunity, obviously, because if we didn't go to play with AC, honestly, I have no idea what would happen with John and I. That's something that I always say. The opportunity that Greg gave us, and let us be a part of that. And at the time, it was kind of a weird dynamic because he had they were the similar situation that VCK did. They won Division I and then earned their pro spot. And we had already played it. So then we kind of came in being these like veterans in a sense compared to them, and we didn't want to take over because it was their team, not ours. So the first year on that team was very, very weird. We had, I think, 12 guys on the roster. I didn't start the first event with Greg, so we kind of touched on this a little bit, this learning curve of humbling yourself, kind of putting yourself in this different places you've never been in. I got to go earn this guy's respect with my ability and with my dedication, all this other kind of stuff to be able to get a starting spot on this. So that's probably something that I'd really taken away from that is, it's not my team. Let me do my role. Let me come and just be a part of the puzzle, not necessarily, try to be running the whole puzzle. But Greg as a whole, he obviously helped me, I'd say really early on, kind of fine tune my game and things like that. And the AC program as a whole, like I said, at first it was kind of weird because they had the guys that were already there and then us. And after the first year and a half, I think it was, some of those guys kind of had that realization, I'm not cut out. I don't have the dedication. This is me kind of assuming speculation, that they didn't really feel like they had the dedication to be on the pro squad because it was more, you know what I mean? It's just more thinking, more layout, dissection, dedication. The layout practices, obviously you're not done by 1 or 2. That's just not how it was, right? When John and I are there, TJ are there, we used to practice like 9 to 5. That's just kind of how it was. Some people absolutely hated it, but I think if you were to go back and look when some of those players kind of left the AC squad, and then it was kind of the VCK core plus some of those other pieces that he had, the improvement and the placings just skyrocketed from there. And that was just our dedication and love and what Dave Baines always jokes is that we're just paintball nerds living the dream. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what it
That's
was.
It's a beautiful thing, man. It truly is. We're so lucky to be able to play this amazing game and connect with people in the community from all over the world. I mean, I'm like you. I've played every sport under the sun. Nothing captures me quite the way that paintball does, and it has a certain zing to it, literally and figuratively.
Yep.
You know, when you get hit with those zingers, they hurt. But it's just the funnest game out there. Period.
Yeah, no question. No question.
No question.
I couldn't agree more. Yep.
Yeah, we have something really special in paintball, and that's also why, like, I also love watching paintball, right? And so the conversation that our game just isn't viewable because there's too many balls, and I just don't buy any of that stuff. You know, more people need to understand it. We needed to do a better job of explaining it and telling the stories of these matches, and that's where the issue is. It's not that the game isn't fun or that it isn't something that people would enjoy watching. What we have is the shit. You know, I also have played a ton of different sports, and nothing compares to paintball. You know, it just really doesn't. It's so captivating. It's like one of the best forms of meditation, which is so funny. It's such a intense sport, but it like captivates you 100% of the time. We talk about this, you know, on the show. It's like flow state, right? You're so removed from anything else other than the moment and like the object at hand, you know. It's a special game, man. I love it, dude. Matt, so
Absolutely.
playing for two different coaches like Greg Pauly, I actually got to play for Greg Pauly when I was younger on Aftermath, and I have a ton of respect for Greg Pauly. I think he does a pretty fantastic job with bringing up youth. I think that's always been one of his specialties, kind of like Mike Kinman is bringing up, you know, younger players and teaching them about the game. I don't really know him as a pro coach too much, right? And how he does in that regard. But obviously with AC and with you guys had something that was very successful. Talk to me about that. How you guys had built such a successful camp without going out and buying other top players. You guys did it from within. That was all in-house, you know, and so that's something that I think a lot of listeners can probably benefit from.
Yeah. And this is kind of what I talked about, and Tyler kind of had something to say too on just being super critical. The beginning of the AC era for us was very much learning from Greg. And I would say this too, like, and this is no disrespect to him, but we learned with him and he learned with us as well. Right. Like, cause at the time that was, you know, he had, I think, been coach of Vicious for a little bit, and they didn't really have very much success at the pro level at that time. So then on AC, when we were here, I think that was probably some of the best pro finishes that he'd ever been a part of as a coach as well. So there was a lot of learning for us and him, you know, really early on. And then, you know, of course, over the few years, that was just fine tuning and learning and more and more and more. And I think Planet Eclipse did a little snippet, or they did a little documentary on it. It was not losing, it was learning. They had a little spin on it. We don't lose, we learn. I think it's what it was. And that was really the big thing that we really kind of made sure that every obstacle or everything that, you know, set us back, we're like, look, don't get upset about it. Just use it to go forward, kind of deal. And a lot of that I would contribute to just me, John, and TJ, honestly, just being super paintball nerds and just wanting to win. You know, there's a lot of people, obviously, since I've left the whole AC program, that, you know, you call it talking shit, they call it, you know, expressing their opinion, whatever, about me jumping ship and not getting a win with the boys. But we got the closest thing to winning. We got 4 seconds, and I feel like we proved to everybody, you know, we're good enough to be on top teams. We're good enough to do it. It just didn't happen together, kind of deal. And I attribute all of that to just being extremely critical and always trying to learn and always trying to better ourselves any given weekend, even if it's not a layout weekend. You know, you want to go out and have fun, but even then, when you're going out and having fun, don't forget all your fundamentals. Don't forget how to actually play paintball, right? You know, if you practice the way that you want to play in a tournament, it's just going to be muscle memory at that point. So then it's just second nature, right?
Yeah.
Be a nerd. Have your gun set up at your house and snap shoot into a mirror. Like, literally just touch your gun. It literally changes so much. And I say this to a lot of people is when we do clinics as well. Don't change guns every 4 months when a new gun comes out. Like, you will get so good if you can keep the same gun for any length of time, because you're going to get so familiar with it. Like, I would guarantee it, you guys have probably the most recent frustration or aggravation, whatever word you want to put on it, going from planted clips to switching over to field one guns because you guys are.
Dude, we
you're-
won the first tournament when we did that.
Did you? Oh, did you guys really?
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's crazy.
You're
didn't
right
know
though.
that.
You're definitely right. But yeah, we did in 2017. We did just switch over.
Yeah, and I'm sure there were some
Crazy.
weekends where you guys grab the gun and you're just like,
man. Totally.
man, I'm like,
Yeah.
this isn't the gun that I used to have, kind of deal.
Dude,
And
it's all about your shot. The name of the game is being able to shoot somebody with your paintball gun,
Yeah.
you know? And
Yeah.
so, yeah, like that shot, when I pull the trigger, like the way it's aimed, the way it kicks, everything about it, I need to be dialed in.
right.
Dialed
Mhm.
in.
Right. So that was something on HC2 that we were super critical about. And, you know, I'll never forget this either. Mouse walked up to John one time, the World Cup tournament where we're shooting the shockers. And he was like, yo, what is with you guys always shooting like the knockoff guns? Like, why don't you guys have like the good guns? And it's the same thing when we were divisionals. It was always a money thing. We didn't have the ability to take the planted clip sponsorship because, you know, Shocker or Empire for shooting the 6s or shooting the Vanquishes just gave us more sponsorship so we could get it done, so we could
Sure.
get to the tournaments, right?
Yeah.
So that was part of it too. But yeah, like it's all
Oh, that's
it's all
right. You
crazy how
guys
much it
shot
is.
the Vanquish for like 4 years.
it's like 5 years. I think
Yeah,
the same-
dude.
I had the same gun, I think, for 5 years.
Yeah.
Dude.
Damn.
And you
that's
do
epic.
get to know that, you know your marker. It's like, it's a relationship that you have to build with your shot. Like Marcelo was saying.
Yeah,
for
you know
sure.
what's going to go down in the bedroom with that thing.
Yeah. You know, it's a straight shooter, you know?
Absolutely. Keith Brown used to joke with me all the time. He's like, dude, I don't ever want to shoot at you. He goes, like, if you look at me, you're gonna put a ball at my face every single time. And that was the joke. I was like, dude, I've been shooting the same gun forever. You're like, yeah, I can literally close my eyes and throw it behind
Oh,
my
it's
back
funny.
and I'm gonna shoot somebody. That's
Yeah.
just how it was.
Yeah, you're definitely known for that in the league, man. You're definitely one of the best. And actually, you're a one-on-one champ for the Ultimate Shootout too,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
I would like to dive into that, but no, I mean, you've definitely built a career off of winning those clutch one-on-ones, being an amazing shot, being somebody that is a relentless gunfighter, really good at gunfighting, and that's something to talk about, because I think in the pro league, you see a lot of players, and especially players that are coming up through the ranks, their fundamentals aren't quite the best, and it's like, this is the easiest thing for you to practice over and over and over and over. Like, you could be doing this. This doesn't quite take a ton of experience, although we've had that conversation too. In gunfighting, there's way more to it than just the fundamentals, right? It does take a lot of experience and reading and timing. But that's, to me, it's like one of my favorite assets. Tyler and I talk about it all the time. It's kind of like fighting when you're gunfighting with somebody, right? You're like, the paintball is kind of an extension of throwing a punch or something. You're kind of doing a dance with people when you're, when you're gunfighting. So
that's
there's
the best
an art
way to
to
describe
it.
it right there.
For sure. There's an art to it for sure. And I love it, but
I-
yeah,
I-
Ultimate
I-
Shootout. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
It's the same thing. This kind of ties into it. It's kind of a cat and mouse thing. Like, there's a point to where you're kind of getting in their head a little bit because they think they know what you're going to do. So then you gotta have to play, 2 steps ahead. You don't want to snap shoot the same spot 5 times because then he can just shoot the same spot. You know what I mean? Like, so there is a lot of mental aspect to it. And that was actually probably one of the coolest things about the Ultimate Shootout. I was extremely hesitant to want to do it just because it's, anything in paintball one-on-one, depending on who you talk to, there's a lot of people that'll agree with this and a lot of people that'll disagree, but there's always going to be luck to a one-on-one. It doesn't matter how good someone is. Someone can lose to someone that's significantly worse than them in a one-on-one just because there is some luck in paintball. It's just how it is. But the Ultimate Shootout was actually a really cool format that didn't make me feel like there was a lot of that unluckiness to it because you had the buzzers and you had the one-on-one aspect to it. So you kind of had there was way more tactics to it in a
lot of
sense like,
strategy.
hey,
For sure.
yeah, like I don't have to just shoot the guy on this one. I can actually just shoot at him, make him think I'm going to battle, and then trying to go for this buzzer because he gets kind of hunkered in for this fight. So it was actually really cool, and I've told a lot of people and recommended like everyone should try it if they're going to try to keep doing it, because I think as far as like an actual like fundamental skill set like test, I think it's extremely good. The cardio is insane. I've never been so tired. I literally, even after yesterday or after Sunday playing the finals and playing Sunday, I was more tired doing the Ultimate Shootout thing than I was playing full matches and all that kind of stuff.
One-on-ones are draining.
Absolutely. Power squat whole time.
Yeah. No
But
breaks on that.
no, not at
Yeah.
all, not at all. But the buzzer format was cool too because there was, like I said, like the mental aspect, the tactics part of it was like once you get to this skill or once you get to this point kind of point bracket almost that you're like, hey, I can just go for buzzers and he's got to shoot me 3 times before
Mhm.
he gets his little kill streak thing, right?
Mm.
So if I go get one buzzer, I win. If I run, he shoots me. All right, he's only got 1 point. I have another time to just run for another buzzer, and then I win again if I just get it. Like, so you get to play this kind of cat and mouse thing on it, and obviously
Yeah.
you can fake the guy out, make it look like
Mhm.
you're gonna run, and then just pull up and just shoot back at him, right? So
Mhm.
a lot of mental games going on with that stuff, which is really
Oh,
fun.
totally. Yeah, and one-on-one paintball, you're absolutely right. It is mental warfare. You're playing off of their tendencies. You're outsmarting the individual and using, the information that they're providing you against them essentially on every single little microcosm. And, it's so important that people play a lot of one-on-ones, because every engagement one-on-one, like paintball is packed full of little micro one-on-ones, and you've got to be super proficient with those gun battles. Marcelo, for the YouTubers, is holding up the coin duel coins right now that
Major shout out to
Hermesis.
Alex Frazier and Oliver
Yeah.
for coming out with this, dude. This is so
Yeah.
badass. I just
Yeah.
I love everything they're doing over there. Had to show them some love. Sorry, Ty,
Yep,
wasn't trying to
absolutely.
interrupt.
No,
That
but this is perfect because they're
Yeah.
nurturing that. They're nurturing that kind of thing, which is what we need.
that whole idea, the whole concept of creating this call it a rivalry, whatever you want to call it, creating
Yeah.
this history is probably the way
Mhm.
of saying it, where they can remember, I challenged Marcelo 3 times this
Yeah.
past weekend and he just destroyed me on all of them, right? Like that guy's gonna remember that. It's the same if he were
Mhm.
if he beats me any of
Yeah,
us, right?
yeah,
Like if
yeah,
any of
totally.
those guys beat us at any point, that's a memory now for them, right? They have the gold coin
Yeah.
to prove it. Like it's that whole thing is so cool because his whole concept on it is like when I was growing up playing in those MPPLs, we were in the divisionals
Right.
when we had to play the higher level team. And I'll never forget it. We played the Russians at some 7-man tournament. We lost in like 45 seconds. And it was a 7-on-7 game. They shot like 3 or 4 of us off break. And I don't even remember which Russian it was, but I was literally watching a gap and he just ran and shot through the gap, shot one ball, knocked me straight in the face.
It's Fedorov for sure.
Yeah, right. And I literally was just like, damn,
Holy
that guy's
crap.
good.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's pro. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like so
yeah.
I have that memory now that like
Mhm.
that was I had that aspiration to look for that, right? That
Sure.
inspiration to want to get better, and get to that point to be able to do that to someone else. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
that's the competitive part of all of this is everyone loves winning, but to win you got to lose, right? So
Mm.
every time you lose you got to suck it up a little bit and hopefully that's fuel to the fire to make you want to win some more.
Mhm.
And paintball, ultimately Tyler was talking about that, paintball has all these little micro one-on-ones. Paintball has a lot of these winning and losing instances. Every time you play a game and you get shot, you just lost,
Mhm.
right? Like so that is a kind of a little beat to your ego. And you can play 30-40 points on a Saturday or Sunday or whatever, and you get shot 20 of them. That's 20 losses in that one day. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot for character building. It's kind of the joke that I always say.
Character building, dude. Yeah.
Yeah,
100%. Paintball really does build character, man.
I think it's huge, and the sport itself, I'd say generally speaking, you got a lot of really good people in it. Just like anything, you got some shitters.
Sure.
You got some people that just aren't the best
Some
humans,
questionable
but
characters.
yeah. But a lot of people in paintball, I think they all recognize what we have access to, and appreciate it for what it is. So
Yeah.
the sport itself,
Fortunate.
like we keep saying, it's unique. It's hard to compare it to
You
anything
got
else.
to fail in the right direction, right? You got to fail upwards and use it, like you said, for fuel, because it is character building 101 on a paintball field. Every time you step out there, you're learning new things about yourself, the individuals around you, and how we can all be better to hopefully go out there and kick ass and win a tournament, because that's what it's all about.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I got to know, what are your dreams for paintball, Matt? Like, what do you want to see paintball do, man?
Marcelo kind of talked about this earlier. I wish it was something that was more mainstream and more, widely acceptable, because we've all been on those plane flights or, in the the gas station headed home from practice for the 3-hour drive or whatever it is, and someone's like, "Man, what are you doing? Like, why are you covered in yellow, or why are you pink?" Or you get on the plane headed home, you stink, you got yellow hands, and people are like, "What is this guy doing?" Like, I wish it was more known, basically, about like what we actually do. You know what I mean? Because what we do and the perception of what paintball is, I still get people to this day like, "Oh, you go and play in the woods and you hide behind hay bales." And you're like, "No, you have no idea," right? Like, and I saw that's one thing I wish we could get it to be. And we've had the conversation over the years. Like, I don't know how it is, because I've shown paintball to family members, I've shown it to ex-girlfriends, I've shown it to friends and everything, and it is tough to watch because they don't know what they're looking at, right? You can't see the paintballs flying. You're like, well, why doesn't that guy move? You're like, well, no, there's like 40 paintballs going through that gap every like 3 seconds, kind of deal, right? Like, people don't understand that. So like
just real quick to interject, this is why to me it's so important that we get rid of split deck, because those 2 minutes could be used so well to show, like, we have slow motion clips, right? Paintball in slow motion is one of the coolest things to watch. You could show paintball in slow motion to the average Joe and they're like, whoa, that is sick. So if in those 2 minutes, you could go back and like show like a cool move or a cool shot, Matt Jackson snap shooting, Malloy in the face, you see the ball leave the barrel, go down the field, connect. And the commentators, Maddie, can like talk about it and explain why that was such a big move or big play. And then you go into the next point. Like, I think I honestly think it would blow up. I really do.
For sure.
Like the visualizations of it. I mean, I just really think that it would hit big, dude.
My God, dude, it's so sad that, like, Matt, you're saying that all you wish is that people just knew what we did. We don't even like, it's still at that stage where people still globally don't even know that we exist. Essentially,
they don't know that the sport exists.
Ping pong. Ping pong.
Exactly. I go and play ping pong competitions. Yeah, I've literally told people that. Like, we all have. You know what I mean? Like, everyone's had that conversation.
Yeah, totally.
Well, I originally say paintball, and then they say ping pong, and I say, yeah, ping pong. I'm really good.
I'm
really good.
Exactly.
Table tennis.
And it's tough too, because like ultimately what you're talking about, Marcelo, it's like it's part of it. Part of paintball would be so much better if we did it post-production, right? If we recorded the matches, we had a winner and everything, and no one knew, and then they did these slow motion clips in between the matches and all this other kind of stuff. And the struggle with that, obviously, is it takes away the live.
You could do that live, dude. You could do that live.
I think you could too.
It costs money,
right?
But you could do it, and that's why that's my dream. We just need someone to invest. It'll pay off in the long run. I truly believe it, dude. I really do.
And I think a cool thing now is with all these companies are coming out with the 50 cal thing. It's kind of sparked the whole thing. If you guys have seen the little jelly balls, kind of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like, Tyler, you got kids. I'm sure.
I mean, shout out to Gel Blaster one time. They actually sponsor the show. We got Gel Blasters in the building here.
Yeah, there you go. So like,
like
that right there is a stepping stone into paintball, right?
Huge, a huge one.
Totally.
That kind of concept is just going to take time to get people to go play. It's like we've talked about this for years here, and me and my brother, and just with other people, is like, when you go play baseball, you start off with t-ball, then you go coach's pitch, right? And then you go actual underhand pitch, and then you go fast pitch, and then like there's these progressions. Like paintball for a long time, it didn't have that. It was just 68 caliber blowing holes in 10-year-olds. Right? Like, that's literally what it was for a long time. So now we have 50 cal, the gel blast stuff. Like, you're introducing these people to the sport where they can get shot with something and they're not just so
it's monumental
afraid of it. Yeah,
totally. The whole little gel blaster, the little, you put them in the water and they get into like a pea-sized shape, and then it is monumental for the 6 to 10-year-old group. That, like you said, those phases, those levels, we were missing that level. We were missing that super low entry, not painful, but still nurturing that same style that we play. And now we have it, which is amazing. Yeah.
So in 5 to 10 years, we'll see where everything goes. And I think the sport itself, the recreational side of it, is massive, and it's getting bigger. I think 04, 05, I think, was like the biggest year on the recreational side of it. And then it kind of started tapering off. And me being in Texas, obviously we play in a bunch of different states. Texas is pro gun and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of those laws that I was terrified too for a long time of, if those ever kind of go the other way, that could start going into paintball being, not more widely acceptable and things like that. So
you see it in other countries. It started happening up in Canada, with certain things. Yeah, absolutely.
So these stepping stones of people kind of understanding, it's not a gun, right? It's a projectile, but so is a Nerf gun. No one thinks a Nerf gun is dangerous and deadly, right? But guarantee you there's been more eyes shot out with those than I would probably argue say more than paintball guns. That's just probably the way that it is. But all of these stepping stones are going to be massive for the industry and the sport of paintball itself. And 5 to 10 years, hopefully we're still around in our teens, walking by, looking at the kids play and crushing it. So.
No, we just might be showing up to the first event with a hurt back.
Ryan Green's fan.
The legend, dude. He's still doing it. Gives us hope, right?
It does.
It really does. Honestly, I'm amazed at all the Dynasty guys because you take it for granted almost, there's going to be a whole era of greats that we all looked up to that aren't going to be around. And, maybe it's another 5 years, but still a time's going to come where that era is no longer in the pro division. And if you think about it, like that was the era that got us inspired. And so you look around now and it's like, it's our job to do now. And if we don't do it, there's not going to be a future generation that is inspired by pro players to chase a pro dream. And that, like paintball won't die. Paintball is going to be a game that people play at the recreational level for probably ever, unless some crazy loss. But like pro paintball and what we do, that is a fragile space, and it could go in it could explode and be one of the greatest, biggest, best things, but it could also go in the other direction. So it's like, we have a lot of responsibility. We really do.
Yeah. Preach the gospel is the joke that has been said over the years.
Yeah, totally.
No, we share your dream as well, brother. And that's all we want too. We just simply want people to know that we exist, that this thing is actually really difficult. And if you try it, you will understand that fully, how hard paintball truly is and especially when you're playing at the professional level, and the way that the games are just broken down to the microcosms out there is pretty crazy. But it's tiring as heck, man. We all know here that paintball is one of the hardest sports to play for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so I'll touch on that. And we've had this conversation over the years, either at the paintball store or clinics. If you are a kid or you're a young adult and you have a parent that is so iffy or questioning all of this, have them just beg them to take you to a tournament so they can watch it. If they can see it in person, you can appreciate it so much more, I feel like, than if you just watch a little video of it. The people that they're going to meet at a paintball tournament, the people that are there, the other parents and moms and family members that they have the chance to meet, I would almost guarantee you it will sway them and it will change their thought process on it. So if you have that obstacle in your way, beg and plead to get them to go somewhere. Take a few hours out of their Saturday or Sunday, take them to a paintball field for a competition and have them do that. It's
a guarantee is a guarantee, and I'll put that guarantee on that too.
That's great advice. It really is. It's great advice.
I hear your dog. I hear you said you had a dog. What's your dog's name?
The dog's name's Knuckles.
Knuckles. You really did want to play for the Ironman. Bloody Knuckles.
What kind of dog do you got there?
No, he's like I call him a super mutt. It's actually my girl's dog that she brought in.
There we go.
But
nice.
He's the saddest dog in the world. Let me see if
we're gonna get to see a picture.
Got some kind of bulldog.
So they do think he has a little bit of American bulldog in him.
He called it. There we go. So for the YouTubers, I think he's trying to find a photo that we can check out the saddest dog in the world.
Justin saw him over the weekend, and literally hilarious. Pretty much verbatim said that. I don't know if you're gonna be able to
all right, we got a pic here.
Yeah, we go.
Oh,
look at
his face.
Dogs are the best, man.
The saddest dog in the world.
Shout out
to
all the dog owners. He's
probably super happy.
No, the dog's happy. He's just so sad looking. It's depressing.
Man, dogs are great. Unfortunately, just paintball's tough. It's tough, with all the travel and stuff to have a dog. Speaking of travel though, man, what's do you have like one special story from traveling for paintball? I know typically that's something that a lot of pro paintball players hold dear, is the experiences that we've been able to have through this sport with some of our best friends. What would you say yours is?
Probably the coolest thing ever. This was actually pretty recent. My girlfriend and I were kind of having a little rough patch, if you will, call it that. And it was the year that I was playing with the Tauntauns. So you had the U.S. events plus the European events. And anyone with the girlfriend or significant other, where you're gone that much, it's super tough and super trying on them. So the beginning of that year, you know, obviously everything's super hunky dory, you know, 2 or 3 events in, she's like, not down. This is not okay. Like, we got to figure this out. So the last event of that first season with Tauntauns, I basically kind of worked it out to where got her a plane ticket to come to the event with us, and then her and I stayed over in Paris for a day or two, and then actually went. She grew up outside of in Germany because her dad was military, and we went to Trier. Trier, Germany. It was like really small town close to where she lived. Come here.
Come on, Knuckles.
Yeah, Knuckles.
He's trying to get outside. It was a real small town outside of where she grew up. So we made this 5-6 day trip out of it.
Awesome.
And it was probably like one of the coolest things. And it helped her kind of look at paintball in a little bit different light at the same time, right? Because she got to experience the whole thing. And she's the girl that she'll come to every single event with me, and she'll come to practice with me, and she's so supportive. It's badass. But just being gone that much was so tough for all of it, for everything.
Does Knuckles have to take a piss maybe?
Probably. I can let him out. I'll be back in like 20 seconds.
Okay. All right. Shout out to Knuckles one time. Where's all my knuckleheads at? Yeah, let's go. Next, I want to ask him about, his move to Impact. And we got another question from one of our amazing Patreon teammates. Thank you to everybody who supports us on there and continuously supports the show. We love you guys. It's pretty amazing. We've been doing this for a year. We had our year anniversary recently.
Indeed,
and,
dude.
It's just
April
been
24th.
the best year. Yeah, April 24th, man.
Nice.
So, hey, Matt, we got him back. Knuckles is able to relieve himself, which is great. So moving to Edmonton Impact, how did that come about? And one of our teammates on the Patreon, Stabby Beats, he wants to know, the most difficult part of the transition and your role on Impact. And part 2 of the question is, winning your pro tournament, your first pro event. What did Impact do differently that AC didn't do for you guys to get that win?
Good question, actually.
Yeah. So the whole move itself was kind of a few years in the working. They actually reached out to TJ, I think 2 or 3 years ago, and he actually told them no. He was like, no, we're gonna stick it out. I'm trying to get one with the boys, basically.
I love that. Yeah.
And that was kind of a mutual respect with me, John, and TJ, having opportunities to do other things. And, John with the paintball store takes up a whole lot of time. So there was the thought for him always like, hey, I might just step out and just not really play anymore because the business is taking so much time and things. So when TJ had that opportunity, obviously, we all talked about it and, how long do we really want to do this? And the general consensus, if we win an event, then let's just, take these opportunities because we don't know how long they're going to be there. And we finished that event, obviously, or finished that season, got some seconds, whatever it was. In 2019, so pre-COVID year, I had actually talked to Dave and Justin about potentially coming over for the 2020 season. And there was kind of some talks about it. And Dave's like, yo, you just let me know, man. Like, it's kind of an open invite situation. And went back to John and TJ and was like, yo, like, what do we want to do? Like, we going to do this? Like, how are we feeling? And kind of said, yo, let's just give it one more year. Let's see what we can do. And then obviously COVID happened, and that was the kind of the most frustrating, worst season, I think, for a lot of teams. Obviously happy for you guys and happy for Ironman because you guys got that World Cup win. Ironman got their win that they hadn't had in a long, long time. But the season itself, obviously, I'm sure you guys still, like, going into Cup, you guys are probably like, man, like, are we having the event? We're not going to have the event.
Totally.
Like, what is going on?
Absolutely.
So the whole season was kind of frustrating. And so going to Impact wasn't really much of a tough decision at the end of 2020 because 2020 wasn't really a real season. TJ was hurt pretty much the whole year as well, and the Shocker situation I was super sad about, trying to shoot those guns for the World Cup event and switching guns right before it. So as a competitor, that's just frustrating. You want to use the best possible equipment that you can that'll allow you the best opportunity to win. And I didn't completely agree and feel that was, the same situation with those. And that's no shout out, like no dog in those guns or anything. They were just new. Any gun that's brand new is kind of
not
tough.
a Field One Force. I get it.
That is a good plug because you guys won the first to make the switch. So I'll give you that. So at the end of the 2020 season, basically just called Dave and was like, yo, let's do this. Like, let's just make this happen.
Nice.
And, went from there basically. And I think the second part was like, what did we do different, to actually get the win? This is kind of cool. It's an off the field thing, maybe coaches, and I don't know if you guys do this, but we had afternoon games the whole event. Our first game was 2:45 Friday and Saturday, right? So, normally for me on AC, we always had AC Diesel, and we always had some divisional team that we kind of had we had to do some kind of helping of some sort of, we were pretty much at the field a lot. So going into the Impact thing, that's not the case, right? We just focus on us. But Dave still told us and made us pretty much, he's like, look, we're up at 8:30. We're going to go get breakfast. If you guys want to go take naps, go back, take a nap and everything. And then we'll go to the field. We'll leave closer to the match time. But the mindset for that, the way that I took it at least, is, we were preparing ourselves for waking up on Sunday to play, all day on Sunday. Right. So we're up 8:15 on Friday and Saturday for no reason, basically, just to go eat breakfast together as a team. No one could dip out of that. Everyone had to go.
Dude,
we had to be together.
Hold on one second. This is something that I advocate for. I think it's so important. Like organized meals with the team. I think like if you don't have your lunch and breakfast or whatever, your schedule figured out, it needs to be kind of orchestrated and really important that you guys are spending that quality time together for sure. Yeah.
And it's the joke or whatever you want to call it, is the chemistry off the field is going to translate on the field. It's just kind of how it is. And I even told some of the Impact guys after the first or second weekend, I was like, yo, I don't even know you guys' voices yet. Right. Like I can hear you, but I don't know who that is that's screaming at me. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like you guys playing together for so long. I guarantee you, it's like me and my brother. John can whisper fuzz and I'm gonna be like, yep. What do you want? You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I can hear it so easy. Same with TJ. So just having the time together, I think makes a huge difference. And the idea of waking up, right? Like, I'm not a morning person at all. So it forced me to wake up and, go get out of bed, get out of just doing nothing kind of deal. And I feel like that set the bar for Sunday. Even though our first match on Sunday was at 11 o'clock. So the joke going in Saturday night was like, we were waking up early for no reason. But, obviously we were all fresh and all ready to go for Sunday because we were already used to it. And that's something off the field. It's not even paintball related or anything. And I think that was something that we never really thought about on AC because, we're looking at it as like, well, I just want to rest because, there's only 6 of us playing every point, right? So it's just like a whole different mindset.
And it's such a nuance and like a simple shift, but it has a tremendous effect in the overall reality of what's going to transpire on that paintball field on that Sunday afternoon. All those little details and preparation, and just like you said, just the timing, just preparing yourself and your mind and your body to be ready for those. That's everything right there.
And the easiest way to look about it is like, if say we didn't win our last prelim game, then we had the 9 o'clock game on Sunday, right? We would have been sleeping until 10 or 11. And then we have to wake up on Sunday, at 7:30 or something like that to go play that game at 9. Like that's completely different, scheduling, completely different, impact on your mentality, your body and everything than being used to that schedule of waking up early and, already being prepared and, being awake basically. Cause, you might be able to wake up at 7 for your 8:30 game, but, that's different if you're not used to waking up at that time. It's just, and everyone's a little different, obviously, but I think it makes a huge difference going into the Sunday.
Oh, it totally does. Your body needs to get, it's your circadian rhythm, right?
Right.
Like you
Right.
don't want to mess that up. And so if you're gonna have to wake up, I mean, hopefully you have to wake up early Sunday, otherwise you
Right,
didn't do
right,
your job. So you
Mhm.
should get into that schedule, be used to that schedule. Yeah, 100%. That's massive. Yeah. How about preparation? Was there any differences in preparation? It kind of sounds like with AC, you guys had that locked down, but
Um,
maybe not.
Preparation, I would say it's pretty similar. If you talk about layouts, you call it the brain power on Impact, the brain power on Dynasty, and some of these high level teams. These guys have been playing paintball for a really
Sure.
long time, right? So that's obviously going to be a drastic difference from an AC when the only brain power that we had was us. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And
Right.
obviously Greg's been doing it for a long time, but I kind of touched on it there, like the pro brain power is a little bit different from some of the previous stuff. And
Oh, big time.
so on Impact, we have this
Yeah.
knowledge base of Justin. Obviously, Mouse has been doing it for a long time. Dave's been doing it for a long time. JC, Justin Cornell. That man, he didn't even come to the first practice weekend on the layout. And then he played you guys.
Mhm.
He played with us against you guys that second weekend. I don't know if you guys recognize it, but the first like 3-4 points, he was awful. And then
Mhm.
after that, he was like unkillable. It was
Yeah.
ridiculous to watch him make that transition. And that dude, he's just been doing it for so long, right? The joke, it's like riding a bicycle, but
Mhm.
that's not something that just kind of comes. Like he's got so many hours on a paintball field, so
Totally.
many hours on Sunday, so many hours in finals.
Oh, yeah.
That he just it's just second
JC,
nature.
that dude is so sick. He's one of my favorite paintball players in the pro league. We always have a fun time chopping it up and shooting the shit whenever we see each other, but he's just a great dude and definitely knows how to navigate a paintball, and he will whoop your butt on that paintball field, man. He's sick out there.
He's dirty. He's dirty
Yeah.
for sure. I think he ended up with 2 jump shots over that 50 brick.
Dude, I definitely saw one of them that was super tight. I was like, it was against Jacob Edwards that he shot.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, whoo.
Yeah.
Jacob's no slouch either, dude. Jacob has a nasty shot.
JC's also like 5'4".
Yeah, exactly. I know. I was like, man,
He was jumping to the moon on that one.
Yep.
Yeah. That's amazing.
I love it.
Yo, how did you get the nickname Fuzzy? We gotta know.
So there's not even a story.
Oh,
it's super depressing. It's super frustrating. So you guys might remember Lucian Blackburn.
Yeah.
He played with
Lou,
Osama.
dude, he's my
Yeah.
favorite. Shout out to Lou.
So Lucian used to be a manager at a paintball field that me and my brother worked out for a long, long time. The only thing we can think of that would have given me the reason to have Fuzzy nickname is one day at the field, I had these fuzzy house slippers, and I didn't change shoes when I got out of the car, right? So was wearing these fuzzy house slippers to the paintball field, and he just started calling me Fuzzy.
That's actually great. I actually love that.
We don't know for sure if that's what it is. That's the only thing we can think of because it did happen. I remember I had these black fuzzy house slippers that I loved wearing for some reason. And he was the one that gave me the nickname. No question on that. So shout out to him. And it's just kind of one of those things that stuck. I've had it since I was 13 or 14 years old. I'm 32 now. So
Nice.
my mom.
Shout out to Lucian, man. He's so funny.
Yeah.
He's the
He's
best.
a wild man. Wild man.
I played on Oakland with Lucian for some time.
Yeah.
We had some fun times, man. Like there was one time Lucian, we were in like Tennessee or something. He got these the Roman candles.
Yeah.
And him and Ryan Shows, remember Nick and Ryan Shows from like Legacy?
Oh yeah.
Dude, Ryan, he ran Ryan down with this Roman candle and lit Ryan's pants on fire, chasing him. And Ryan is running around screaming like bloody murders. And Lucian is just like, he's a madman. Like you said, he's just running.
Doesn't care.
He's so wild.
That's hilarious. Yeah, dude. I remember Lou.
Yeah.
Trauma was tight.
Trauma was
so tight. What a cool organization.
Mhm.
We gotta get one of them. We gotta get Lucian. We gotta get him on the show.
Absolutely.
Just reach out to him. Yeah. I haven't talked to him in a long, long time. I don't know what he's doing these days.
Yeah.
But,
He's killing it in business, I'm pretty sure. I can't remember what he's doing, but he's doing good. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm writing his name down in my book right now, actually. We got to get Lou on.
There you go.
So Matt, as a former MVP Golden Barrel winner, what kind of advice do you have for up and coming players that are trying to cut their teeth and chase a pro career?
Mm-hmm.
honestly, like you kind of touched on this earlier, is the fundamentals. Just don't forget, and don't don't think that those aren't something that can make or break your whole career. When I'm in Houston and I don't have, for right now, like when I go do drills, if I play in Houston, I don't have a team to go play with, and
Right.
this is no dog on the Houston community, but there's not really like a good competition for me to go out
Yeah.
and play at a field, right? That's just how it is. So I literally will go get a case of paint and I shoot poles for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I snap shoot until I can't snap shoot anymore. My legs are burning, my side, my obliques are burning. I got sweat dripping down my face, like literally, and I'm full gear, not like shorts and a t-shirt or anything like that. Full gear. Practice like you're gonna play. That's what I preach that all the time. And I literally will just shoot poles until that entire case is done, or until I can't stand anymore, or whatever it is. And the idea there is I'm working on that first ball accuracy, working on the muscle memory of grabbing your gun, go left-handed, right-handed constantly, running and shooting literally, and start off slow. Start off literally just walking and shooting change your gun to semi-automatic. If you're not trying to shoot a whole case of paint, shoot less paint when you're doing drills, right? Like if you can go do drills shooting 5 balls a second, when you go to the tournament and you're shooting 10-5, yeah, you're going to be able to hit the target if you can hit it with 5, right? Like that's just simple, right? Do what you can afford too, obviously, right? Make your money make your paintballs worth every penny. Stretch them as far as you possibly can. If you can only afford to buy a case of paint on your scrimmage day, we'll only take 2 pods out to play each game, right? Make those 2 pods work. Obviously, if you've been watching this whole thing, you've heard me always kind of struggling with money. So that's something I always touch on, and it's just kind of how it is, right? That's how I grew up, and I feel like it's helped me significantly.
And good for you, brother. Like always just digging deep. That's what it's all about too,
It's just I don't know. I don't even know what to call it, but that's just, you got to do what you got to do, right? Like
that's that grit.
Yeah. The joke that I say is I do what I have to do what I want to do, right?
Yeah.
That's it. So go out there.
That's not a joke, brother.
No, it's not. It's not a joke. No, it's dead serious.
I like that statement.
Yeah. Work on yourself. You be the best paintball player you can possibly be on your own, right? So then you're going to be a puzzle piece to go apply to any team, right? If I wasn't, it's just, if I wasn't a good paintball player, I wouldn't have been able to make the fit onto Impact, period, right? I had to prove to them that I'm a good player, and then now I have to come over here and keep proving that I'm a good paintball player, and just, it's just another piece going into the puzzle. Do control what you can. If no one wants to go to the field with you, you go to the field by yourself. That's I've been blessed and lucky enough to have a brother that always wants to do it too, and we've helped each other get better over the year. We had a text exchange on Sunday, and obviously like there's that picture going around of him and I hugging each other, and like this isn't like just a victory for me. Obviously it's just massive for both of us, because this is something we always wanted to do together, and it's partly frustrating that we couldn't get it together, but at the same time, obviously Ironman didn't have the best event, and John got to kind of live vicariously through Impact and through me having the success of this event, and that's just massive for us. But we've always had each other to be critical on and make each other get better. So if you got
such a great guy too, man. You lucked out.
No, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I couldn't ask for a better brother. Obviously, brothers always got moments.
Of course.
It's just how it is. But yeah, no, absolutely lucked out on all of that. And if you have a buddy that wants to get good and wants to go pro with you, just ride or die with that man or girl or whoever it is, make each other want to get better. That's, if he doesn't want to wake up Sunday morning, go pick his ass up. Take him to the field, right? Like that's just the way it is. So.
That's great advice, man. Absolutely. You got any like projects you're working on or anything for the future of the game? Any little projects you got?
No, I don't. No? I'm not that. This year has been a kind of interesting one. The whole idea of obviously trying to get in better shape, just come into Impact and be the best paintball player that I can be, and be the best teammate that I can be, and help those guys in any way I can, or let them help me in any way they can, kind of deal. So that's kind of really the focus right now, and that's it. Just try to keep keeping on.
It's hey, life's a garden, dig it, right? Joe Dirt, shout out one time. So yeah, man, that's really important. the dedication and the, like, you guys, all of you on Impact, there's no, like, it's no question why you guys won. You know, you guys all are all in. Every one of you are all in, and you're focused on being the best teammate, the best paintball player, the best absolute version of yourself for those events. And if your team isn't doing that in the pros, it's going to be hard to win, unfortunately. You know, that's just what it takes to win today, right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who'd you room with? Any funny stories about your roommate?
No, it was just it was me, Trevor, and Rob Velez.
What? They make you go three to a room?
So I was about to say,
but it's a suite. It's three.
A suite. Yeah.
Okay.
We all had our own beds. Everybody had their own room, and it's actually, this is a cool thing. This is kind of off the field as well. I've roomed with a different person. I don't know if this is by happenstance or whatever, but I roomed with a different person every practice, every event, everything so far. I've had a different roommate.
That's huge.
To build the bond. And
Sure.
There we go.
I said, I don't know if that's planned or if it's just kind of the way that it worked out. But it's been awesome.
Mhm.
And
you don't want cliques to form, right? Like I've been on teams before where the same two people room every time, and that's never good. Like typically on Dynasty, we like to draw names out of a hat, so you get someone different every time. And I mean, that's kind of a thing on Dynasty. It's like, well, if you don't want to room with them, then we're not going to have him on the team. Right. Because that kind of chemistry is important, and you definitely do have to like each other out there.
Yep. No, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah,
Oh,
my only stipulation on rooming is people can't snore. I'm a light sleeper. So if you're
Yeah.
snoring, I'm out. I gotta get a different room.
Fair enough. Yeah. Shout out to
Dude,
our old coach, Rusty. Rusty used to snore logs.
Oh,
That's
man.
Dave. That's Dave.
If you were in the room next door, you still couldn't sleep.
That's Dave too.
Yeah, what's up with these old heads?
No, I pack earplugs everywhere I go, just in case. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Nick Laval does that actually, and I might have to start taking him up on that. I've never tried it before.
It's a
He's
good
very
move.
crafty.
Yeah.
He's got all the little tricks with just about anything. Very good.
Nick is very particular.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's cool. He's a cool guy. Yeah.
Shout out to the BKI family one time.
Yeah.
We got Nick.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%. Well, shit, man. I'm all out of questions over here. Ty, you got anything from the Patreon, from any of the listeners? Anything you want to ask?
We've asked all the questions from the listeners. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, man, thank you, Matt. Thank you for coming on the show, and congratulations with the success out there in Florida. Super stoked for you, man. You got your first pro win, so you can knock that one off the belt and keep going for more. And
hopefully you don't get any more.
Yeah, no more for you.
Hopefully that's it.
But
we're gonna stop that shit right there.
We'll fight you for it.
We'll see. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's going down for sure.
100%.
But yeah, we're super stoked to just have you on the show and tell these stories, man. The listeners are super grateful because there's a lot that goes into pro paintball, and being able to have this in-depth look at one of the best players in the pros is an amazing thing. So thank you for stopping by, brother.
I appreciate the invite, the opportunity, and I appreciate you saying that, Tyler and Marcel. You've said some nice things, obviously, and like I said, I looked up to you guys when I was growing up, so it's badass for me to be able to be here. And if you guys ever need somebody, you can't find somebody, shoot me a text.
Hey,
I'm
there we go. You always got a seat.
Yeah.
I tell Maddie the same thing all the time. Like, I love talking about paintball. I nerd out on this stuff. My brother's the same way. My brother would love to get on you guys' show and talk.
Oh yeah.
Just
get him on.
It's just
immediately.
The man, dude. Yeah.
We're paintball nerds. We live for this. This is what we've been doing forever. So
yeah.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys all for all the listeners. Thanks for the questions. If you guys ever have anything, reach out to me. I'm not on social media much, but I will answer back.
Yeah. What's your social media? Where can they find you?
Just Instagram. It's at Fuzzy Jackson.
Fuzzy Jackson. Okay.
And then also everybody be sure to support the Beachbody, right? And drop that Instagram one more time.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me see. Yeah.
That
Sharky _fitness. So
there we go.
SHARKIE_fitness.
Yep.
That's my girl.
Nice.
Be nice. If you're not, we got
you're
problems.
gonna be in trouble.
Be nice.
Let's get a follow, and if you're looking to take your nutrition game to the next level, get on in there. Absolutely.
I love it. Awesome, dude. Matt, thank you so much, man. I'm even more of a fan now, dude. You're just a phenomenal player. Again, like Tyler said, congrats on the big dub, and hopefully we'll see you soon. We might even be practicing each other. I know we reached out to Dave to see if you guys want to get a grind in.
I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen.
Awesome.
yeah, Dave wasn't sure how fast this next event was coming up, so I think we were trying to set it up real fast, and I think we all agreed that it was good.
Cool.
Awesome,
We'll
man.
see you
so
soon.
much.
Sounds
Take it
good.
easy.
Later,
All right,
brother.
later, bro.
Later, guys.
Peace.
That was a really good episode. Man, I have never had a conversation with Matt Jackson that went much further than, you know, what's going on, how you doing, or anything like that. But what a fantastic guy. What an excellent, you know, person for us to have in this sport of paintball. Obviously a total paintball nerd, as he would call himself, and much of us would also call ourselves. Knows so much about the game, been involved for so long. That was really valuable. I'm sure the listeners, I'm sure all of you guys really enjoyed that one. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. We do hope you enjoyed it. We hope you loved it. Please go and support Matt Jackson. You know, follow him on Instagram. Follow his girls' Beachbody page. That was Sharky_fitness, I think. You said it a couple times in there, but make sure you guys show support for them. And you know, obviously, as always, if you guys would like, you could head over to ptgpaintball.com. Check out our website. We've got our Patreon on there if you would like to support the show and become a member and get involved with our, you know, all of our extra things that we are doing for the community. We have, you know, private group chat on there. We have monthly meetings, all sorts of really fantastic stuff. So, all right, everybody, without, you know, going on any longer, I'm going to let you guys go, but we will see you guys, as always, very soon.